Alright, I think this thing's finally working. Hello, welcome back to stream number 5. I say welcome back because I originally wanted to do this earlier this past week, but life got in the way, was not able to make that happen, but we're here. And I think, trying to remember exactly what we did in stream number 4, we were edging toward getting this separated into a different district, possibly. And maybe doing a little bit with tubeways and some more automation stuff. We've touched on a lot of it so far. But there's still other stuff we can mess with, like population counters. And I don't know that the science counter is really going to be relevant right now. Maybe in the future. But indicators to make lights or displays or something like that. And then, of course, we also have speakers, which I have not done anything with yet. Fireworks launchers, which should be pretty exciting. And then all of these other things. HTTP levers and adapters that I am hopelessly not knowledgeable about. But we'll see what we can get done in however many more live streams remain in this series. Once again, YouTube has given me top chat instead of live chat every possible opportunity. So let's fix that. I think we are good. Hopefully. Anyway, we got 88 adult beavers. We have 6 kits. We've got, actually... Do we have a... We do. We should be replacing our breeding pods with the advanced ones so we don't have to worry about the little children anymore. So why don't we do that at some point? I guess we'll see what happens. But let's get through the rest of the night here. Continue working toward what we decided we were going to do. Build some more industrial capacity. I know we have kind of over here a separate industrial area, but there's not much that these guys could really do. Especially since there's not a lot of scrap metal left over here. So this may end up just changing continuously between different things. Long term, this is a much better option for scrap metal. Because we have a mine here. There's not any power generation really available, but we can do engines. It's not a big deal. We also, a big part of, I think it was the last episode, put in these tunnels to evacuate the bad water all the way off the end of the map, and as far as I remember, it worked pretty well. And then, of course, we have bad water stuff up here. I don't think we need to worry about doing much of anything else with this. This bad water seep's just going to keep on making bad water. And I think we can just leave that alone. But for having, you know, just shy of 100 beavers, I feel like we're pretty well developed. Things are going decently well. I know we're going to talk about doing bad water diversions and shutting up all of these, not all of them, but some of these other things. So while we're waiting for everyone to roll on in here, why don't we go ahead? I don't have any dirt, or else I'd probably do it with dirt. Why don't we just go ahead and put in some levees to try and keep this contained just a little bit. I don't want to send beavers down here into the bad water and get, you know, messed up with all these thorns here. Of course, the ideal solution for these is just to completely box them in. We can't exactly do that. At least not right now. But I can, in the interest of, you know, preventing any more pollution from going to most of these places, just have them come in here with some of this stuff. And that should get us in a decent spot. We will see. So, YouTube AI moderation failure of a company policy chat has decided that Kurt just needs to be infinitely moderated at this point. Kurt sent a very kind message, says, "I can't stay long today, I apologize, and willingly accept my beating." So I guess that's probably why. But let's approve that. That is A-okay, you know, do what you gotta do. Always glad to see you here. But yes, YouTube automated AI moderation is a scourge upon society. But that's the way it goes. Yeah, see, this is looking fine. This will be looking fine, and then once we're across here, we can probably come over this way and get this more or less cleaned up. There's a little bit of poison in here, because obviously, when we have a bad tide, then this pushes out bad water. This is one of those things that we were going to probably need to do, like how we'd done before with the floodgate, and then the fluid dump, and all of that fun stuff. That's a simple thing for us to do. I won't put this right next to the floodgate, but we'll go right there. And then we'll, of course, need to have a, I guess, depth sensor for this one. Since we have basically infinite water now, it's probably fine. You know, actually, we're not cavemen. We have technology. I've already done this. So we might as well just duplicate absolutely everything. Oh, is this the, this is Gary controlled. That's right. Oh, Gary. We love Gary. Let's just duplicate that. And then we'll duplicate this. I can't believe I forgot. How could I possibly forget about our beloved Gary? This is going to be really awkward for, you know, viewer Gary if he's in chat, but... Oh, he is! Hi, Gary! Oh, why is it holding so many messages? I don't have time for this. No. So, the reason Stream Elements bot just showed up was I had been asked repeatedly if I had the Stream Elements tipping thing. I don't have it set up, but I did connect it to the chat. And I got as far as setting things up, and it said, we need a PayPal account. And I don't have a PayPal account that isn't directly tied to my full government name and identity. So you can obviously see why I didn't want to hook that up. Who else is here? Who else is here? Dominic, good to see you. Stephen Gibson, Steve Koopa, all sorts of other folks. Thanks for being here. YouTube, what are you doing? I can't sit here and click unmoderate on all these messages. Oh well. It is what it is. But that's why Stream Elements is there. At some point I will get that, you know, I'll get that sorted out. But and I've been asked so many times, I figured, you know what, I should look into this before the next stream. And I took a little bit of time last night. But PayPal's very weird about using aliases. And I want to be careful with that. Because they've been known, especially people, like artists who do commissions and stuff online. It seems like every week there's some sort of story about, oh, this person had like $50,000 stolen from them by PayPal because PayPal suddenly decided they're not a real person because they didn't use their government name on it. So I don't know. We're going to have to see how and if I'm going to be able to get that to work. But the reason that person asked me to do that was because YouTube takes a cut of any memberships, donations, whatever. It's much less than Twitch's cut, but it is still 30%, and that person wanted to make sure that anything that they decided they wanted to send to me would 100% go to me, which I appreciate. But there's other logistical challenges in place for all of that. Let's see. Just set up a shell company to... I can't read that out loud, because you never know who's listening. I never do that. I genuinely, I'm very, very, very by the book as far as... finances are concerned, and I want to absolutely make sure I'm always doing things correctly. Which is part of the reason why some of these things have taken me a really long time, because I don't want to play games like that. I want to play games like this, where we can have fun with the beavers. So I believe I should be able to... yeah, we'll make a little zigzag here. That could be kind of fun. Yeah. So we'll get them in here to take care of this. Gary, of course, will guide us to excellence over here. We'll worry about that at a later point in time. I don't think there's anything else I have to do. Oh, now MP3 is getting censored. Okay, I understand why it would censor that, but I don't think it's, you know, bad, so I'm going to hit show. Hello from Canada. Hello, hello. Might need a moderator just to correct the YouTube mod. I guess I should be careful about who I actually give moderator privileges to. Oh, I don't want this to be a complicated thing. I just want to, you know, I just want to stream beavers and not have to worry about it. You can lessen the amount that YouTube AI moderates the chat. There's only two settings. There's strict and basic. And as far as I know, is this going to mess me up here? What is this set to? Yeah, it's set to basic, so I don't know why. No, don't mess me up here, YouTube. You lost sound because I defocused the window. Anyway, so, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. The Terminators are after me. Yep, there you go. Devilish has a lot going on. Shows up when he can. Okay, so we got a drought in 3 days. That actually might be advantageous for us to take care of some of these other things. If we have a drought in 3 days, that means I can get rid of one of these levees. This will drain out, and then we can send some beavers in here to take care of the rest of this. But already, this is going to make a big, big difference, folks. Okay, now if you're trying to, you know, trigger the sensor, then of course it's going to do it. You know, you think about it. So Patreon is actually really good about revenue splits, depending on how you have it set up. Not to turn the stream into a, you know, YouTube creator finance education session, but the reason I originally set up Patreon was because people asked me to. I never wanted to take money from anybody. Kurt, who is still in chat, I hope, kept asking if there was any way to send me something for like weeks. It seemed like weeks or months. So I said, all right, fine. I'll set up YouTube membership, whatever. And I thought maybe, I don't know, like 4 or 5 people would do it. And then within a couple of weeks, I had a couple hundred names on it. So I don't know. I guess people wanted to do that. But I set up Patreon as well because people ask for Patreon because they don't want to give YouTube money. There's plenty of valid reasons not to want to give Google your money. So I set that up, and Patreon takes about, the amount varies, but it's about 8% for how I have stuff set up right now, where YouTube takes a flat 30 and Twitch takes 50% unless you have a partner contract signed. And then some of those folks keep a little bit more, like maybe up to 75. So Patreon's actually a lot more advantageous, but it is so hard to use with early release videos. And I tried it for a couple of weeks. It just didn't work because my videos were so long and their upload and encoding was so slow. I could have an hour-long video uploaded to YouTube, rendered and out to the early supporters in start to finish, like 20 minutes. Patreon, it would take 6 hours. And I would have to manually approve it. So that would mean if I uploaded a video at, say, 11 o'clock at night, and I'm not going to stay up till 5 in the morning to wait for that, so I would have to do it the following morning, and sometimes those folks would only get it maybe an hour or two ahead. And like, that's not worth it. That's kind of why I deprecated Patreon as a regular thing. And a lot of people who, you know, they just want to support the channel, they can throw a couple dollars my way, whatever they want to do, and then that's how that works. Let's see. It is so funny seeing the messages that it censors that actually probably should be because of the implication. Well, the rest of it's really dumb. Okay, what I'm going to do for right now is I'm actually going to desync this floodgate from Gary because I want this to stay all the way up so that all of this evaporates and all of the bad water goes away so that it can have the maximum irrigation range possible. We'll come back to this later. But once this drought starts, I'm going to remove one of these, and then we're going to send some beavers down in there. Other spots on the map that are, you know, just puking up bad water all the time, we want to keep this. This one also has these drains here. And that's going to be maybe a little bit of a challenge to fully take care of because, obviously, this is full of nasty here. And, see, what level is this on? Say 8? Yeah, we could actually come in from way down below and tie this into something going straight off the map and then just blast up or blast down into those tunnels, but I think that's going to be quite a ways off. Other stuff, this is a bad water seep that can go away. This is probably the closest one for us to take care of, so before we get too comfortable here, let's get rid of that levee. Let this get completely drained out. And then, like I said, we're going to come in here and I have 23 beavers who are not working. Okay, well, you know what that means. You know what that means. We're about to send all these guys in here. And then they can just deal with it. Let's let that get out of there. You know, I don't want to infect them, but I do want them to actually... How are they doing this from above? I didn't think they could do that. Well, that's a fun development. I guess that's what we're going to be doing here. So this is going to, be completely surrounded. We don't need to worry about any of the rest of this. And we have 8 days, so, we got time. Okay, Kurt, I know this is a joke, but for those of you in the chat who will read that and assume it is not a joke, first of all, it's a joke. Second of all, don't ever do that. Take care of yourself. Take care of your loved ones. Take care of your bills. Pay your taxes, whether or not you want to. Bad things will happen to you if you don't. And then, after all of that, if you still for some reason want to give me money, then that's okay. I can send Google some feedback. Yeah. Yep, do what you want. There's no chance I'm ever doing sponsorships for Raid Shadow Legends. It's been around forever, and I don't know I know some people who are really into gacha games for all sorts of different franchises. I know people that play Genshin and whatever the other one is that's associated with that, and all the rhythm games for all the various Japanese franchises. I don't know anybody that plays Raid Shadow Legends, but I still see these YouTubers who, okay, and I get it. You got bills to pay. I'm not ever gonna get really mad at somebody for getting the bag. Just do what you got to do. However, you're not playing Raid Shadow Legends. None of you are playing Raid Shadow Legends. You're not, or any of these other like mobile games. Like, oh, I've been playing this for the past 3 weeks. No, you haven't. You're reading talking points off of a marketing brochure. You're not doing it, and I don't want to be part of that. I don't know, maybe it's actually a fun game. I don't know. But the fact that nobody I know who is really obsessed with those kind of games plays it, it's probably not very good. And I'm not going to take their money. Don't people just put unlisted YouTube videos on Patreon? So you can do it that way. But then, if you do it that way, then the YouTube members can't get to it. Unless they also have the link to the unlisted video. But that's not a good way to do it with YouTube, because the only other way you'd have to notify people of that is with a community post exclusively to YouTube members. And, the community post function on YouTube is great, and I love it, and I use it all the time. But it doesn't always notify people when a post is made. And people don't always see stuff. So if I uploaded an early video for the channel supporters, and I didn't mark it as members only first, I just made it unlisted, then what would happen with that is the YouTube members, of whom there are currently, I think, around 700, because we had incredible gift membership spam at the start of this live stream series, that most of them wouldn't see it. Versus right now, when I do it, it says, hey, uploaded a members only video, and every one of them will get a notification. Versus the other way around. And I think right now on Patreon there's 22 active supporters. And I've talked individually to a bunch of them, and I've said, hey, so I appreciate you supporting, just so you know you're not going to get the early videos on here, because Patreon as a platform is just fundamentally not set up for it. And most of them have said, you know what, that's fine, I don't care, I just wanted to throw you a little bit of stuff because I like your videos. I'm like, okay, well, thank you. But it's the Patreon integration of the early videos, the way I have deliberately structured it, is not... I shouldn't say it's not a priority, because that makes it come off as me saying I don't care, which is obviously not true. But from a perspective of this many people on YouTube support specifically to have access to that, or as a result of having support bequeathed to me on behalf of somebody else, they get access to that. And the Patreon folks generally aren't really bothered by it. Oh, yeah, Google did not censor that message about beavers. So that has confirmed that it is, in fact, a bad AI. Good job. We're doing science in chat, everybody. Oh, boy. I can't read that one out, or else I'm going to get a knock on my door, but... Are you using Raycon? No. Everyone I know who actually knows anything about headphones says the Raycons are they're probably fine, but they're not better than anything else. And that's what their marketing focuses around, right? Every single one of those videos, those ad insertions, it's like, oh, they're just as good as other premium brands. Raycon's not a premium brand. They just try to position themselves in the same segment of... I'm going to get blacklisted from all of these companies, and it's going to be really funny. Not like I'm going to buy it anyway. Like, all right, headphones. Right now, I'm wearing, what are these? MDR 7506s? That's exactly what they are. Sony studio monitoring headphones I bought 7 years ago when I was going into video production in the before times. And they still work great. I've replaced the ear cups a couple times because apparently Sony doesn't know how to make those that don't immediately explode when they come into contact with skin oil. But I've replaced those a couple times. They work great. They're not like audiophile quality headphones, but they're good enough for what I do. And they don't exaggerate the bass, and they don't whatever. So it works perfectly fine. I'm not going to spend more money than I spent on these to get... Okay, I guess they're not technically off-brand, and I should be careful what I say sometimes, but I don't want to spend more money than I spent for these on a product I already don't want to buy because it's been spammed on YouTube forever. It just doesn't seem appealing to me. So, is what it is. Realize the beavers can't reach most of those levees. They will. We have 7 days. But this isn't the ring, so that's not a bad thing. Let's see. Do you recommend Squarespace or NordVPN? I've never used Squarespace. I won't tell you whether or not I have ever used a VPN or who I do or do not use. But I can tell you that most of those advertisements are just straight up lying to you about, you know, the benefits of using a VPN. Unless you're in a country that is actively, you know, attempting to control what you do online, which I guess the U.S. is slowly becoming. But most people don't need one. If you are traveling in a foreign country and you need to access content from inside your home country, then yes, that's a great use case for it. But a lot of the time, no, it's not really necessary. Is there a sponsor video you make for Timberborn, you know, to advertise Timberborn? I wouldn't say this game is lacking marketing strategy. Mechanistry has done a very good job of engaging with the community and focusing their resources on the existing community and people who are adjacent to it. So I did do a paid sponsorship for Timberborn. Mechanistry sent me some money in, was it 2024 for Update 6? They reached out and said, hey, we want to sponsor a video or a short series on your channel, and we really appreciate you doing a lot to advertise the game. So I said, okay. And that was the first 5 episodes of the Update 6 series on whatever that map was called with the Iron Teeth. And I was happy to do that because it's already something that I really genuinely love. And, of course, Mechanistry is a great company. That is the only paid sponsorship I have ever done where I actually got paid for it. I shouldn't say anything else about the other companies because who knows what's going to happen to me if I do that. But that's the only one I've done. Unless something else comes up, like I don't know, like if the people who make Transport Fever 3 say, "Hey, we want to sponsor you to play this," which they probably won't, but I'd say yes to that because I loved Transport Fever 2. We're still doing a stream series on it. But outside of that, I don't want to take somebody's money to tell people I really love this if I don't actually care about it. MDR 7506s are great entry-level studio headphones. Yep, that's why I bought them. Because I was a broke college student getting into video editing. And that's what we used in the lab. And I thought, you know what? I can find these for a decent price. And they've been great ever since. There's the site called woot.com. I think it's like an Amazon something or other, whatever. But they had a deal on some wireless headphones. And I wanted to get some wireless headphones, like full over-the-ear for other things, you know, like not being chained to a desk with a 12-foot coily quarter-inch cable. I bought some of those, and I was really disappointed with the audio quality from a brand that is supposedly famous for having good audio quality. Like, really? It was not Bose. I'm not dumb enough to fall for that. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that. Some of the Bose stuff is actually good, but some of their products are just marketing hype. If only some lumber company would sponsor a video. Yeah, there you go. Oh my god, how did it not censor that message, but it censored all these other ones? I'm absolutely not going to use the word scammed because that's not what happened. That should be made abundantly clear. But yeah, that did not work out. Anyway, we're almost done with this. And as soon as they are done getting these thorns out, I guess I could put this on triple speed. We have a whole 6.3 days left. Wow. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of all of this. I can pick these pieces up. And then, of course, we'll get the rest of these popped in place. I don't have any intention of ever using this so I'm not going to feel bad about just completely blocking it off. I really don't understand. I genuinely enjoyed the game. I had a great time. I had so much fun playing Anno 1800. And I don't know why people didn't like it. Like, people really did not like those videos. It's like, it kind of made me sad. Like, this is a good game. Like, what are you guys doing? If you hadn't poked the hole, what do you... Okay, with regard to what, Mike? Yeah, Tascam stuff is good. Yeah, I really liked Anno 1800. And I don't want to say bad things about, like, people who develop games. Like, 99% of the people who make games are just... They're really passionate about what they do. They really try their best. But sometimes, companies are going to be companies and stuff happens. It's never about the people who are actually making the product. But man... Some of the stuff that's happened with some of these companies that develop games is baffling. I really don't understand. Let's see. Hoff does not have a gift membership, and I don't know how, because we had like, oh man, I don't even know. The one stream there's 471, and he never got one. Right on cue. Right on cue. It's our friend Tim again with 20 gifted memberships. Wowee. Thank you very much for supporting, Tim. I appreciate you. And let's see who's going to grab some today. Mark Prime, Nick Nitro, Ab Cold or AB Cold. I'm sure that's probably what that is. The Nelson. I'm actually not sure how to pronounce that. I'm very sorry. See, now I got derailed. Now I'm thinking about pronouncing names in languages I don't know. Well, anyway, I'm sorry, but welcome. Jatis525, Stephanie Finex 6083, Tobias Hartman 2021, Beach Boomer, Tony English 74, Velar, Jermaine S. Clark, Myron Young. Wow, I completely butchered that one. I'm sorry. Myron Young 4634, Bell Bonnets Connor 9658. LL Shagadelic. I haven't heard that phrase in a long time. That's a good name. I believe that's Japanese. I do not know what the kanji is, but it looks like Ryoku-chan, maybe 63. I don't know what the kanji at the front is. I'm very sorry about that. Bella Martinez 2788. Tiny Newt. Andre, possibly. I'm so sorry, folks. But I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you, Tim, for donating some memberships to those folks. Welcome. I'm trying to learn more languages as I go along in life, and at some point I'll be able to maybe pronounce more of these. Kurt says, the best financial occurrence for JC this year is Hoff not getting a sub. Poor Hoffmeister, man. Gary, the namesake himself, has gifted 10 memberships. Thank you very much, Gary. I appreciate you and appreciate your support. Stay V, apropos Weween, I guess. Nutty Guy 509, Evil Necroid, Dimitri. See, is the S part of the last name, or is it at the end of Dimitri? I don't know, but welcome, Dimitri. Curtis Versteg 515, Guilleramo Toro Nato Rhodes 14, Donza Patero 4808. Welcome, and thank you very much, Gary. And here we go. Yeah, well, just so you guys know, like, you're never obligated to send or give me anything. I appreciate the support, but there's never a situation where you will be obligated to prove your worth to this community, Kurt, by giving me financial sacrifices. That's just not how this works. I need to get them down in here to put in... I don't want to do that. They are going to get poisoned. I need to do this instead. That is a much cleaner way to do it. I don't know why I thought it would be smart. I don't know why I thought it would be smart to do that way. You know, I had never considered... Hello, Rogue Operations. I'd never considered that, which I will absolutely never say out loud, to be something that people would do that for. But it's clean for me. Fluid dump next on top of your levees. So we don't need to. Right here, I'm assuming you're talking about, because this will only ever go up 2.8. And the levees are already around it. Am I at the bottom of chat? I think I am. As long as this one gets finished before the end of this drought, we'll be in good shape. We do have a geothermal field here, so this could be a decent place to have a miniature wood processing area, since we have some oak trees here. Do I have a way to get stairs down here? I do. How about that? I love this, that I'm able to do this in this part of the map. This is good. Come on, click. Thank you. Yeah, so that's going to let me get a couple of... It's almost like this was specifically designed right here for me to be able to do this exact thing. What a smart piece of design. This is a map that's included in the game. So, obviously, you know, we talked about how much Mechanistry has listened to player feedback with all these things. So I'm thankful that we have that here. If I want the path to come this way, then I don't have room there. But what I will do is get this set up. Not that we need a lot more wood, but, you know, segmenting production is probably a pretty smart thing to do. Oh my god, Kurt, what are you doing? They've upped the speed on the Forester slightly, so it's now a 12-to-1 ratio of lumberjacks. I did not know that. Well, that's very helpful info. Thank you, Mike. This is not a perfect circle, so yeah, maybe 6 would be okay for this. Okay, I will not be manually approving that, Rogue Operations. But that's really funny. I should not be laughing at that. Those memes are absurd. They're so dumb. But it's funny anyway. What was I gonna put over here? We're at 400 HP. Wood workshop takes 250. If I only made this planks and treated planks, I had 250 here, and I had 75 and 75. That would be another 150. That would be 400. That sounds good to me. We'll just get that knocked in right there. You know what? I want this to be flat. So let's do that. I know we have other connections here. We're not going to use them. So we'll just have this come out here. I think it makes much more sense if we're going to have lumberjack flags for those to be in an area like right here. And that can almost reach everything, honestly. That's pretty good. That's, we'll do 2 there. I'm going to put, say, 2 right here. That should cover a lot of it. Oh, did they finish this? Okay, they did, but we did not. Oh, that was dumb. Alright, I don't care. I'm not going to lose sleep over this. Let's put in fluid dump here. And then this, of course, does have to be automated to Gary. And this has to be re-automated also to Gary. And then when it's off, it needs to be 0.65. Is this clean? It's not clean. Okay, well, why am I even worried about this? I said I wasn't going to do it. I got distracted. I wonder how that happened. I think that's... Now that's all clean. Alright, so now that's just going to stay just like it is. That's fine. This is fine. I don't think I care about pollution going around here, so we can just kind of leave this alone. This is doing okay. There's nothing left here that can get cleaned up. A backseat policy? I mean, like, I'm not going to, you know, allow people to drive, per se. But you're always allowed to say, like, hey, you should do this. But, like, if it gets annoying, I'm definitely going to ignore it. But I'm not going to ban you from saying it. No, Hoff did not get anything yet. Store area on top of the industrial area. You know, we could. This kind of morphed into something it shouldn't have become just because it was ugly to begin with and I didn't really care. This area here probably needs to move somewhere else and be slightly redesigned. And then this over here, I don't really have much going on over here. And I probably should do something about that. It's a let's play, not a watch me play. Yes, I do say that. I think we can leave this alone for right now. I want to get this clean enough where I can have... I've got nobody coming down here, right? Good. This is coming from... all the way up here, really? Oh, it goes underground. And that comes... oh, I see scrolling happening. Okay, hold on. Hold on. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right, who's responsible for this? It's Tim, once again. Oh, boy, I appreciate you very much. Thank you, Tim. I guess this is a good time to tell everybody. This March that we're currently in, as of yesterday, became the best month ever in terms of metrics on this channel. And I'm very thankful for all the support. I really appreciate you guys. I got a lot of cool stuff I'm trying to do, both on this channel and especially on the train channel. But you guys are the reason why I was even able to get back into that stuff in the first place and to acquire the hobby shop inventory and everything. And, you know, people say on YouTube, you know, nothing lasts forever. A channel usually has a lifetime between 5 and 10 years. And I'm not planning to stop anytime soon. But what you've been able to do for me on here has given me a very viable lifetime career alternative should YouTube go south. And that's afforded me a lot of security and a lot of better mental health, not having to worry about what if I wake up tomorrow and my channel's deleted. So just know that, you know, even if you don't care about stuff like that, what you guys have done here has made a tremendous positive impact on my life, and I'm truly, really, really grateful. Genuinely. Now, that being said, who did Tim gift memberships to? Link the Tank, KVA 420, FIFO Mello, maybe? Edmontano 9149, Fred Lindemann, Michael Deem, Mr. Xander Howell, Chanman TLL. Oh, Rick. I haven't seen Rick in a long time. At least not in the membership list, so welcome back, Rick. I was about to say, I've seen Rick plenty of times in the comments, just not in the memberships. Battlefield Boys, Breheat 3998, Jesse Cat, James Harris 5722, Rizati, Joe Logan, one of those. Let me know if you're in chat what the correct pronunciation of that is. Kathy Sale, Ross Random, Killzone. Once again, spaces not being here make it very hard for me to parse what is the first name, what's the last name. Mackenzie Hothersall and Real Walker 81. Thank you very much, Tim. Again, for all of your support. You've made a tremendous positive impact on my life and maybe at least a little bit of an impact on those people's lives. Getting to see the silly beard man play with beavers between 8 and 12 hours earlier than everyone else. And once again, YouTube has not given Hoffmeister a membership, which is honestly at this point kind of funny and also very sad. Meant storage for us to set up... Okay, I gotta read that again. I meant storage for or set to supply. I love it when people use complex English in good ways. Thank you for that. Newly built geothermal area. Okay, I don't know that we need to stack it necessarily, but what we can do is we can have this set up in a slightly better looking way. We have the option, because oak trees take up 3 vertical spots, we have the option to build some overhangs over here. They'd have to be 4x1s. But you know what? That might actually be an interesting thing to do. We got 3, 6 right here. I only need plank storage, treated plank storage, and log storage. This setup right like this wouldn't really be the best way to do it. Unless we stacked them, and without having ladders, that probably isn't going to work. We'll check and see. Let's see. Just got to notice I got a membership gifted. Yeah, hi Rick, good to see you. Oh yeah, I know you're probably here a lot. You used to chat maybe a little bit more, but I'm always glad to see you. You go way back. You've been here since how long ago? Like probably the first time I remember seeing your name was before I even did memberships at all, if I recall correctly. Specialist game streamers are like specialist animal species that go extinct when the environment changes. Always best to hedge your bet with other games. So, you know, I kind of tried that to... Okay, give me a second here to take care of implementing a solution for this before I, you know, get super distracted. We want to have log storage, and we want to have all of these other things. I need to mark this entire area for cutting before I forget, because I will forget. I promise I'm going to address what you just said, and, you know, most of the rest of you as well. But if I get too distracted, I'm not going to do it. Do I want over here? 1, 2, 3. Now I know this is not... That's not a good spot. Let's not do that. Oh, I wish this was a tiny, tiny bit different. You know what? I'll humor you guys. I'll do this. I won't do it for every piece of what we are attempting to do, but I will do it. So this is going to be a good opportunity for us to get... Now, why did I do that? For us to get that hooked up here. And then if I move this one more over this way, I can also put in... Nope, that's the wrong button. There we go. Put that right there. This would be a great place for us to have storage for treated planks and regular planks. And then next to here is where I can do all of that. Okay, let's see. Because I do want to talk about this. I think this is really important to address. The specialist game streamers going extinct when the environment changes. That is, you know, at least part of the reason why, as I said a couple minutes ago, why I decided to take advantage of the opportunity presented to me in terms of the model train stuff. Because even though, you know, it's a very specialized hobby, doesn't have an enormous market, but there is enough of one where I live where I could reasonably, you know, parlay that into a decently comfortable part-time thing to supplement the other stuff I'm doing, which is exactly what I'm trying to make it. But I've been very concerned for a very long time that any given day I will wake up and my channel will either be deleted or something will have gone horribly wrong and I can't do something about it. And YouTube will be unwilling to help. Or that people have moved on from Timberborn, especially now that it is in full release. But I don't think this community is going to be going away anytime soon based on the incredible level of enthusiasm that these videos continue to get. And now there's all these other big YouTubers playing it. I mean, like people like RC's been playing it forever. Biff has played it before. City Planner Plays has played it before. Obviously, Skystorm. I'd love to see him come back. But these guys have been playing this game for a while, even if it's, you know, not nearly as much maybe as I've done. That's the kind of stuff that is going to make sure the community continues to grow, even after the game is quote-unquote finished being developed. Which Mechanistry hasn't said they're done. They just said the game's out of early access. So I imagine they still have plenty of other stuff they want to do. And I'd love to see it continue for a long time. But I have tried on several occasions to branch out into other games, and you know, sometimes it's gone pretty well. Sometimes it's really not. So I think for all intents and purposes, this channel, probably until I'm done with YouTube, is still going to be a primarily Timberborn channel. Just because the algorithm has decided that that has to be the way it is. We already talked about people hated the Anno videos. Prison Architect videos didn't really do that well when I first made them, but for some reason, like, one of the series got a huge bump in viewership randomly, like a year or a year and a half after I uploaded it. And I had fun with that game. I was excited about the sequel. The sequel was basically canceled, which is unfortunate. Let's see, the Penguin videos did okay. Transport Fever 2 videos bombed. The streams have been fun. There's a smaller audience for those, but I do genuinely enjoy the game, and I'm excited for the third one. What other series have I done on this? Manor Lords did pretty well. The live streams did better than the videos did. City Skylines 2 was very disappointing, like bitterly disappointing. Like people were excited to see it. It's just the game didn't work. See, but I just don't know what other games I could realistically do that would actually garner reliable viewership. And people have made suggestions for years. Like people said, "Oh, please play this, please play that." I'd watch any video you make on this, but then I look and there's not that many people playing them. The people who are playing them aren't getting a ton. Aren't getting a ton of views. And that doesn't mean it's not going to go well if I did it. But I have to be, especially when this game is so popular, and when this is dry now. Let's take care of this before I forget. Gary. Then this has to be 0.65. Okay, glad I didn't forget about that. This is Cave with the Boom ready, and then this is going to end up being log storage. And then hopefully this can run nicely for a little bit. I know we need a forester. I haven't forgotten about the forester. I was just waiting for such a time as it would make sense for me to put, I guess, probably here. No, that doesn't really. That's slightly better. That's what I'll do. Is this the best placement for this? No, objectively it's not, but it's fine. I'm going to put a what do you call it over there? Then that will come around here. And we should be, hopefully, good to go basically forever with this. I've accepted I'm watching beavers forever. It helps come to terms with your fate. I guess that's a good thing, because I don't know that I've ever had anyone come to me and say, I absolutely regret watching Timberborn videos and it's made my life worse. I don't think that's anything that anyone has ever said. It's a great game. It's really fun. And the people who make it are great people. Like, what could you not like about this? Also the biggest penguin streamer. Yeah, I don't know. I had a fun time playing that game. I don't know why more people didn't do it. And that was actually the developer of that game reached out to me and asked me to play it. And I was like, yeah, okay, I'll give it a shot. I was like, yeah, we can make videos on this. There's one guy. I don't know why this is stuck with. There's one guy on one of the very early videos, the penguin thing. It was like he got mad because I was quote unquote promoting the tenets of communism, which I don't know how that works with a video game about penguins developing an ice flow into a society, like whatever. People sometimes you meet interesting people online, and I'm not here to tell you what to believe or not to believe most of the time, but that was a real head scratcher. Hey Josh, how did I forget the penguins? That was literally all you did back when I first ran into. Okay, so you came in. Okay. I know exactly when you're talking about because of other reasons. That makes sense. that was the time when I was mostly doing that. We were in between Timberborn updates. Let's see. Have you tried Going Medieval? I have not. I heard it's good. Frostpunk. Oh yeah, Frostpunk's been on the list for a long time, but it's one of those things that I'm always like, you know what? I'll check it out when I have time, and then I never have time because the beavers command full attention. That's taken care of there. I'm going to get this completely locked in. We have enough berries. Where's the rest of these berries coming from? Over here? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say bye-bye berries. Is that a berry or a tree? Okay, it doesn't matter. I'm going to say bye-bye berries, and we're going to pick up all of the space here for some more oak trees. Let's see. Do you do Timberborn game on YouTube full-time? Well, full-time in terms of time? No. It's YouTube on this channel constitutes about 25 to 30 hours a week if I'm streaming, which by most measures that is not full-time. I do have another channel I have not been able to make any videos for a long time, but I'm still actively working on getting some other stuff going for that. And then I do... Okay, hold on, that's too far from a district. I've got to I gotta take care of this. Get rid of that tree, and then I have to put in paths a little bit closer to get rid of those. I do technically have a W-2 job. I don't spend much time there anymore, but I do a bunch of other freelance stuff. I used to, up until 2 years ago, I used to do sports photography. I don't really do that anymore. I do other photography and video jobs on the side. 1099. I have another job that I'm not going to discuss here because it's extremely doxable. And then now I have the model train shop. So I am working quote unquote because, you know, a lot of what I do is fun, and some people are, well, that doesn't count as work because, you know, what I don't care. But I do spend on an average week's probably 50 to 60 hours doing what could technically be considered work, even if it's not a strenuous physical activity. Which I recognize is completely unsustainable and is probably going to kill me if I don't do something about it. So we're going to see what I can prioritize and what makes sense. But YouTube currently is the dominant usage of my time and is my dominant income. But it's not the only thing, if that helps. Is this able to... Okay, that's in range. 13 minutes left until what? I must have missed something. Crusader Kings. I don't think I've ever played. I had a friend in college who played a multi-year dynasty, like multi-year in real life dynasty in one of the Crusader Kings games. Something like that. Gotta head out. See ya. Hey, thanks for being here, Kurt. I know you're probably already gone. Image for the... Oh, does it really say episode 4? I thought I had fixed that. Oh, that's so annoying. That's so annoying. I thought I'd... Okay. No, I'm not anywhere near DC. I'm in the southeast U.S. You streaming it is absolutely strenuous. I mean, maybe. For people who've actually done this, they understand that it can be very taxing, but, you know, and I don't want to generalize people that it's almost never a good thing to just put somebody in a box before they themselves put themselves in that box. But I have encountered some folks that say, well, okay, well, you're not doing a real job. It's like, all right, well, first of all, that kind of hurts a little bit because I really care about this. And I like to think the people who watch the videos do enjoy them, but I do recognize this is not manual labor. It's not, you know, digging ditches or doing construction or fixing cars or mowing lawns or whatever. But you know, I do have to put a lot of effort into this, and I do genuinely care. I'm not doing an OnlyFans. I don't know. I don't know why it censored. Okay, I guess I know why it censored that. But please plant some pines on the upper level up here. Yep, absolutely should have been what I did, and then I got distracted because we're having a good time talking here. Is this going to be in a good spot for all of this stuff? This is poison, and it doesn't have to be. For now... I mean, if I put in a bunch of these contamination barriers, then I'd get one extra thing. Here. I don't know if that's really worth doing at this point in time. I am doing my best to try and get some sort of progress done on this. I have to jump back and forth. I will have this come back to here. I know it's not in the center, but this is going to maximize my growable space. I don't want to cut these down. That should be okay. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't make nearly that much in 8 hours of doing YouTube unless people just absolutely shower me in donated memberships. But I'm glad you enjoy watching these videos. And I have done a whole bunch of stuff for very, very, very low pay before. And I gotta say, I don't miss it. But I do still have a lot of the time... some regrets that maybe I should have gone into an actual stable career that's going to last me the rest of my life and not putting everything in on YouTube. I mean, I don't regret doing this, but it's hard to explain. I hope you guys can understand when I say what I say about this stuff, that I'm genuinely trying to articulate my honest feelings without it possibly being misconstrued. I heard the alarm bell for the dreaded bad tide and panic because I have this open too. Yeah, that's the way that goes. It's always always stressful when that pops up. That being said, we have half a day. We've spent a lot of time talking and having a good time, but I need to make sure before anything else happens that I'm not about to drown my beavers here. We fixed these. These are good. This is going to overflow, come through here. This almost dried out, actually. That's too bad, because this is now going to be too deep for me to send beavers down here after this bad tide, but we need to remember to come back over here. If I go all the way down to the bottom, it's going to show me where the drains are, and that's what we need to be worried about. Okay, so we talked about those. We have 3 up here coming out to that. Does that have a drain somewhere else? Or no, that was just, wow. That's going to be very full of nasty bad water. We got 3 over here. We got 2 here. We got 2 here, 2 here. Okay, that's the ones we fixed. These we have not fixed. These we have not fixed. These we have not fixed. But these aren't as big of a deal, because they're all kind of close to the edge. That one we shouldn't really be worried about. But it will flood through here if it's a long enough bad tide. I don't think a normal mode can actually do that. Where does this go? Oh, that goes through here. Okay. Well, that's why that evaporated so fast. All right. We haven't even gotten to this side of the map at all. I guess this is probably fine. I just don't want it to turn into something where it's like, oh, well, we could have fixed this, but we were too busy, not actually playing the game. Pine resin, pine resin, pine resin. There we go. Obviously, I'm going to have storage probably a little closer for this. So maybe I want to just have a small warehouse somewhere kind of near here for pine resin. This probably isn't a great spot for it, but whatever. And obtain. And supply. Alright, so hopefully, long term this is going to help. Obviously, they're going to take 19 days to get resin from the point of planting, but I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. I have this set up correctly, right? Good. Yep, that's working out great. That's fine. That's fine. Assuming this is actually still automated, which it is. That's always fine. Yeah, I feel good about that. We have not done anything relating to tubeways yet, and I would like to. However, the tubeways are kind of expensive to build, and we don't have a lot of metal. Oh! Well, that is a that's a development. Okay, so guess what we're gonna do? We're going to put in irrigation barriers. Because if we don't, all the trees are going to die. So there goes all of our treated planks. Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, I guess this is a good time-lapse-ish type construction project. Okay, they definitely should have censored that message. And I will not be doing that, but, the creativity of this community with regard to subjects like that is both impressive and terrifying, I guess is what I should say. The bell keeps getting you. Also, the worst part about seeing someone stream this game is I keep wanting to... Yeah, click my UI, see how that goes. All you're going to do is pause the stream. Why haven't you built 2 ways between your hubs? Well, that's what I was going to get to until I realized all the pine trees are going to die. So that is probably what we will be doing next. I do want to build those underground with the tunnels because, one, I think it's really fun. And 2, that is a very long construction project that we can do while we're talking to chat. Let's see. Oh, watching the time till the next payday. Yeah, I hear you. I also watch the time till the next time YouTube sends me money. It is always nice when that shows up, though. It's like, oh, I can pay my bills now. Let's see. So I take it, Josh, you're back to playing the Beaver game. It goes in spurts. Drink water. It's good for you. I say as I drink not water. So I hope that I can replant these pine trees pretty soon. That was I mean, they were only growing for maybe a day, so it's not that big of a deal. But I hate it. I hate it when that happens. So that's cleaning up. Got a couple more there. That should be fine. But yeah, to build the tunnels, we obviously have to have a lot of planks. We have to have a lot of extract. We have to have a lot of dynamite. I don't feel like we're in a bad spot with that. But I feel like we're going to run into issues with planks more than anything else, just because each segment of tunnel requires planks, and then the tubeways also require planks. The Ember Pelts faction mod has tubeway tunnels, which are obviously both of those things combined, and they're very great. But the base game does not, so we'll have to kind of figure out how to do that as time goes by. We also, we don't have to bury them. I just tend to think that looks nicer. Oh boy, Disarrayer is back. Thank you very much for 10 gift memberships to the community, and I hope you have a good day as well. Good to see you in here. Shade Dweller, C-Dub, Garrett, I'm assuming, Garrett3173, Dip G, Smiley 13123. I can't read, clearly, or do math. Smiley 123ization, there you go. Jord Huga 271, Brandon Bird 5816, Smelly Corpse 01. I don't want to smell that. Plutonics 5, Johan. Is that Dutch? I'm trying to learn as many different language pronunciations as I can, but it's very slow. Johan Hokeveen, maybe. 6563. I can't read. Why am I doing this? I can't even read. 6353. Thank you, Disarrayer, very much for supporting continuously for a very, very, very long time, and welcome to the rest of you. And apologies again to Hoff for not receiving a gifted membership. You can connect all your power when you do the tubes underground. Yes, that's another reason to do it with tunnels. Still need a bit more beaver storage. You are correct. You are absolutely correct. Let's do that. This will go in right here. And now they're scrambling, like, when you like kick up an anthill or something, they all just come pouring out. That's exactly what just happened there. Have you tried the pressure map? I have not. I kind of wanted to. Maybe for this one, but I decided that wouldn't be as conducive to a live stream learning environment. Has anyone done the math to find out if it's possible to grow and store 1 million logs on a map? You know what? You have given me a very good idea to see if we can do that. I can't promise we're going to do that in this series, but hope everyone's doing real well. Real life caught up with me this week, and I missed all the streams. Well, you know what? You didn't miss streams on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, because I ended up being busy and not able to stream. I had planned on streams for all 3 of those days. So you didn't miss those. I guess Monday and Tuesday you did. But always good to see. Pressure is mean. Played it on hard mode. Well, now I kind of want to do it. Sounds like the plains map for all the space. This map's got space. This is a big map. Okay, do you guys want to see me attempt to do 1 million logs on this map? Vote now on your phones. But I'm not going to do a poll because that's annoying to set up. Yes. All right. Say no more. So I guess that's now another goal for this playthrough is to do that. But I need to set up tubeways because I said we were going to do it and I hadn't done it. So we need a way to get down into the tunnel. It's just like any metro construction project. You have to have a place to launch the tunnel boring machine. That usually is a big parking lot. So two-way stations, since I don't have any modded ones. 2x3, this would be a decent spot for one, I feel like. The breeding pods. Oh, I was going to upgrade the breeding pods. Let's do that real quick. Let's put 4 of these here. Now, I know I don't need 6 of them, but we will very soon. So let's do that. These pop out adults only, so we don't have to worry about, well, basically anything in terms of beaver raising. I want those to go away. Anyway, so this right here is eventually going to become where the station goes. That's water storage. See, now I have to remember how to set all this stuff up the way I want to do it. This would be a good thing to put extract right here. This is what they need. We have berries. Any of these close to being done? Oh, this one is. Do you remember how many logs you had in those tall log towers several streams ago? Not that many, honestly. I think it was... It might have only been like 20,000, maybe. We want a complete logjam of a series. Well, you're probably going to get it. I would imagine the game would encounter extremely bad performance issues before you got even close to a million logs. Well, this is what live streams are for, right? You want to try something new. You want to do long construction projects that you can just kind of leave unattended while you talk to chat. And I think we can make that happen. Do you only need hauling beavers in the main district or the production areas away from the main district? Well, they'll go wherever. And right now everything is one single district. So until we divide that up, I don't think it's going to be a problem. And we might not need to divide them up, depending on how good the two boys are. Okay, so. Now I'm hungry. Two-boy station here. This is what level? It's only 5, really? Okay, well, you know what? This being 5 is actually a good thing, because now I don't have to be as worried about how much time it's going to take me to get this excavated. I do need to give a fair amount of space for actually getting down. So this will go down 1, this goes down 2, this goes down 3, this goes down 4, and then I can have this go down 5, which means this needs to also be a 3. Which means this also needs to be a 3. I did not do my math very well. Like any other subway system, the powers that be will keep talking about it for years with no discernible progress. Oh boy, is it mass transit politics time? Oh boy, because I'm ready. We're not going to get into politics on this, but I don't know. The furthest I probably should go without, you know, potentially alienating half of my viewers is very frustrating. How hard it is to do things that benefit the public and benefit businesses and governments and everything that actually utilize these things. And I think it's ridiculous we can't build infrastructure in this country being the United States, without it being some incredibly overdrawn, decades-long project with nothing getting done. Anyway, if we go now to this being level 2... I'm just going to put the doubles in here. And because we have the, what are these called? Spiral stairs. We can just go down here instead of having to make a huge line thing. Timberborn is great for big builds while chatting. It absolutely is. Thought the railroad built the nation. What happened? Okay, a lot of things happened, but they are kind of inseparably tied to politics in this country in a way that I'm not sure is possible to be charitable, sanely and politely discuss, because people are going to have very, very, very different opinions about some of it. But essentially what happened is you had automobiles come in and get democratized, which, you know, generally speaking, I think is a good thing. But that has made it very, very hard to get anything else mass transit-wise improved, because, well, people are like, oh, I just want to drive my own car. And that's fine. You can have the freedom to do that. But the thing that really killed the railroads, that the private car, I mean, might have eventually, without but the airplanes, and especially deregulated airlines, made it so that railroads could not compete on cost and efficiency, and especially time, with passenger service across the country. And that made it so that, I mean, they weren't really making a ton of money doing passenger service. I really needed to get this set up before I completely screw myself over and not have anything done. But, you know, once you get to the point where there's a quote-unquote better alternative that is going to be, in the long run, cheaper as well, you know, people aren't ever, except enthusiasts like myself who do crazy things like take trips just to ride trains, you're not really going to be able to come back from that. And the railroads now are much more interested in just running freight everywhere. For better or for worse. This needs to be... Okay, that probably is going to have to be 2 doubles. I'm going to turn this the other way. So, anyway, now we have down in here, to the very, very bottom, double wide tunnels. Before I get on one of my forgetful rants here. Double wide tunnels coming out this way to... Because I have to be careful about what is underneath. And this is going to be a problem here. This may actually not work very well. We may run into problems. This is only clean water. Where does this... Is this just connect to over here? Yes. Okay. So what we're going to have to do... Bear with me, folks. Bear with me. Okay, that's a natural dam up here. I need to block this off for the sake of actually being able to utilize this tunnel. How tall is this? Just one? Okay. They can't build that from above. They have to come in from the side. We'll get back to train rant in a second. But I absolutely have to take care of this. And I also have to think very carefully about how I'm going to say what I want to say without it being like just overtly rage baiting. Okay. So we're going to take care of that. And we want this to go out to... I guess I'll cross under here. I think this should be... Yeah, so this is going to bust into this tunnel here, and it's going to flood stuff, but it's not going to be that bad. The evaporation will go away. This is going to make sense for us to bring this up to maybe like right about here. And this is level 4. Let's... Because I only need to get up here. I only need a single thing. Can the tube-ways in the base game go into the underside of a tube-way station, or is that only a mod behavior? Well, okay, now I don't know if I want to put that there, because this is where the power connects right here. And this is at what level? Level 5. Well, no matter what, I know I want that to go down the backside because that's not where anything else is connected here, which means I can have this tunnel go, for better or for worse, over here. Yeah, we're just going to do this. Oh, I can't see anything. Come on. Come on. So if I were to bring the power, at least, all the way through here, and I wanted that to be connected... See, that's just not a good spot for me to put a tunnel for power purposes. But I do still have to have this go here. Why am I doing this? Why did I decide to do this? Well, I suppose... Probably... this just isn't good. This isn't good. Because I don't want to have a station on this backside here. I don't want to have a station on this side. I feel like it would make much more sense to have it over here, which is what I had originally planned. All right, so that's going to go here. Yes, this exact spot. I mean, it doesn't have to be a double wide tunnel, but it sure is easier to build this as a double wide tunnel. I think this is what we'll find ourselves doing. Again, I know. Just allow me the grace to actually, get this reasonably taken care of here. Okay, so the power is going to go on the outside there, which means it's going to be on this side, which means it's going to have to come over here to connect to... Actually, no, it can connect to this from anywhere. But, yeah, I can't really do much. Okay, this one's currently paused. If I come down to this side here with a tunnel, and then I have this cross over the tubeway. I know this is like the most ridiculous possible way to do this. I think that's the only thing I can really do. Okay. Now I am very far behind on chat while they work on this. Let's see. Normal breeding pods be forgotten? Yeah, essentially. Alright, there's a bunch of stuff we have to address here, starting with, oh boy, here we go. Hello, Hubby28 with the absolute truth nuke. Also live in the southeast US, what I would give for local rail and especially regional rail access. Oh boy! Here we go. If you don't like train discussion, this is your chance to bail on the stream. But state of Georgia, right now, which I don't know where Hubby is, but I've said many times that's where I'm at. We have Amtrak service daily, once northbound, once southbound out of Brookwood Station, which is in Buckhead, neighborhood of Atlanta. It used to be a Southern Railway suburban station, as an alternative for the big main stations about 2 or 3 miles further into downtown that were torn down in the 70s. But that is the only place in the state of Georgia, to my knowledge, where a train stops every single day going both directions. Savannah has service, or I guess that's the only service that stops daily. Obviously, that train stops other places, but Savannah has service on 1 or 2, possibly 2 trains, but I don't know that they're all daily. I think the Floridian might be a couple times a week, or it could be daily. I don't know. I haven't taken it, but for the city of Atlanta, which was originally envisioned as a terminus for multiple railroads and was originally named Terminus after the railroads, to only have single train service once daily, and it comes at 11:30 at night going northbound, is absolutely ridiculous. But local politics are local politics, whatever they are. And, it's been very, very difficult to get funding for Amtrak on a national level for a very long time. And, again, for whatever reasons that might have. And there just has not been sufficient investment. But there's appetite for it, and the train is called the Crescent. It goes between New Orleans and New Orleans, depending on where in the country you are, and New York City. And I've taken it a couple times. It's fine. It's a train that goes. Could be better, but, they don't have funds for it. For that to be the only way intercity passenger rail links with the vast majority of this entire state is absolutely insane. And I really wish we had more. There is an appetite for regional rail for commuters, but, the host railroads aren't going to allow it, because why should they? They're trying to make money. That's their own private property. But between Atlanta and Chattanooga, the state of Georgia owns the right-of-way. I forget what railroad it is. It might be... Oh, I have it written down somewhere. But it was right-of-way that some railroad went defunct or whatever. The state of Georgia bought it up, and it's currently leased out to CSX, which is a rail operator in the eastern half of the United States, for those of you in Europe or who might not know. But the state of Georgia owns it, and they could put in a state-run regional rail service that would connect to Chattanooga, and there's tremendous demand between Atlanta and Chattanooga. to the point that the Chattanooga airport, to some people, is actually a overflow airport for the Atlanta one. It's only 2 hours if you want to drive, which I know Europeans are like, who's driving 2 hours? Look, Americans do this every day. Some people's commute is longer than 2 hours, and they do that every single day. But I know there's demand for that. Atlanta to Savannah, GDOT, the Georgia Department of Transportation, has been doing surveys for a couple of years now, garnering public interest for state-sponsored passenger rail between Atlanta and the city of Savannah, which would connect to all those trains that come through Savannah, which it used to be a couple more, but for now I know at least the Floridian that goes between Chicago and Miami by way of New York City does. There's appetite for it, but again, you have to be able to pay for it. And, you know, people by and large in this country have decided at the ballot box they don't really care too much about how, you know, public transit is funded. Because honestly, a lot of people who live in the middle of nowhere don't want to pay for it because they're not ever going to use it. And well, why should they? Because they're not going to use it. But there comes a point as a society, and this is not intended to be a specific political message or whatever, but there comes a point as a society where people have to decide what is more important to allocate their money toward and their general societal support and efforts toward, and that is individuals or the collective. And the United States seems to have made a choice on that. Whether or not you agree with that is your own business. Anyway, let's see. We are now 12 minutes behind. Let's see. The inside of America is pretty darn empty. It absolutely is, and that is like there's different factors for why. But you know, there's plenty of stuff to go and see, and you can drive basically anywhere in this country pretty easily. I do it. Not all the time, but I've done a number of cross-country road trips, 2,000, 2,500 miles one way. And it's a fun way to see stuff. You go to small towns, you can see different historical things, all sorts of national parks, and really, really neat stuff. Not everybody has the opportunity to do that, and it takes a really long time. So, you fly places. There are long-distance trains in the U.S. They vary in quality, they vary in reliability a lot. But you do have options. I just wish there were more options for those who want to take them. Why the staircase when you could just blast down a single hole and put in a vertical tube? What, you know what? You're so smart. Why didn't I think to do that? Oh boy. Okay. Well, I had to get down here to start making the tunnel anyway. They can build tubeways from inside tube. Now, I've completely derailed myself because people got me talking about trains. That is like the guaranteed eternal method of just ensuring nothing gets done in a stream as if I get talking about trains. But I do need to get. Was this going to be the corner coming up? No, it's the center. I guess that's fine. We still haven't run out of planks. Oh, I can't get rid of this because it's... Oh, man, I kind of missed the boat on that. Why do you guys do this to me? now I've derailed, huh? Now I've derailed the playthrough here. What also killed railroads in the U.S. was prioritization of freight instead of passengers. Okay, so, I will agree with you on that, and I'll also push back on that a little bit, because in the U.S., freight was always the priority. Even dating back to the very, very, very early days of railroads, freight always paid the bills. Now, there are other places in the world where that is not the case, like very notably Japan, which is almost entirely passenger railroads with some very limited freight operation between point to point. But that's because, you know, they built their infrastructure to accommodate that. And a lot of people don't own cars. You have metropolises that are very urbanized, and you have a robust mass transit system that has interoperability, and it's just a really, really great setup. And that's good for them. I wish we had that here. We don't, and we probably never will. But on the other side of what I said about I'm going to agree with you, I'm going to disagree with you, yes, in modern operations in the United States, because Amtrak, the national operator, passenger operator, does not own any tracks except for parts of the Northeast Corridor between Washington, D.C. and New York. Or maybe Boston. I think they own part of it up to Boston. Because Amtrak doesn't own the tracks, they have to lease trackage rights from the host railroads, which in the United States currently you have Union Pacific, Norfolk Southern, BNSF, and CSX. And Union Pacific and Norfolk Southern are currently attempting to merge and become a national coast-to-coast rail operator, which would be the first in the history of the United States. Whether or not that's a good thing, I guess, is up to you to decide for yourself. But the freight railroads generally do not like having to tolerate Amtrak on their stuff. And they will, not always, but frequently delay Amtrak trains or have them sit in sidings so they can have their 2-mile-long precision scheduled rail with one dude in the locomotive, and the train's got, I don't know, a couple million tons worth of stuff behind it. So that can go by at 30 miles an hour, and the people on the train wait for 5 hours. Even though that's not legal, according to Amtrak's charter and all these other things that the Federal Railroad Administration and the all the other Department of Transportation stuff has set out, is saying, hey, you have to prioritize passenger trains. What? They're not going to do it. Some are better than others, but they're not going to do it. And they don't have an incentive to care because they're there to make money. And they've got these precision scheduled trains that have to go between point A and point B at this time, and they don't want to wait for 200 people sitting on an Amtrak train. So on-time performance for a lot of these Amtrak routes is so bad that trains have arrived, in some cases the cross-country trains, some trains have arrived like 12 hours late before. But there's also some parts where, you know, the train runs on time. And like Northeast Corridor, when Amtrak operates it, isn't perfect and certainly has a lot to be desired. But generally speaking, those trains run a lot more on time than the ones out west. And I've been on trains that have come in early, which, if you know anything about American railroading, is absolutely unheard of. But it is what it is. You can only do what you can only do. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend to have, complete knowledge of absolutely everything. But I do, for better or for worse, have a kind of ridiculous amount of knowledge on some of this stuff because it just interests me. That's fine. Train rant got derailed. Yes, it absolutely did. We are now 14 minutes behind on chat. Isn't the U.S. reliance on SUVs and pickup trucks the most efficient way to transport people on a daily basis? Well, the road exists. So technically, yes, because that's what people can basically only do. Am I the only guy from India? You are not. There are actually a pretty decent number of folks, both in the Beard Boosters and just the general audience from India. Not a whole lot of people talk, though, but the viewer statistics do support that. There being a lot of people. Oh boy, here we go. I just got scrolled to the bottom of the chat because we got a big gifted membership drop. I'll get to that in just a moment. If you're unsure the tunnels are for secret... Well, okay, I can't read. If you're unsure the tunnels great or for a secret bad water diversion and greening your map, great gameplay idea. Yeah, well, that also works, yes. I would like not to flood those, though. Need more builder huts? Yes, we're going to build those. Project 1K is going to finish, yes. But it takes so long to make those episodes now. I have 20 hours of footage I've already recorded that I'm going to have to try and condense and put narration on top of. And it's just time-lapsing, waiting for stuff to get built or X amount of water to get pumped or crops grown or whatever. I'm probably going to have to make at least a couple more episodes on it. But it got massively derailed because I couldn't finish it before Christmas because I was traveling. And guess what? We drove across the country. We had a good time. But that takes 2 weeks. Two and a half weeks I was not home and could not record. So that derailed it. And then we had all these updates to come to Timberborn, and obviously I needed to focus on that. So that's why that happened. Okay, that's in the Netherlands. Is it Utrecht? I'm sorry, we're 9 minutes behind. 900 departures every day. One of the Atlanta stations, the city in which I used to live, had a daily departures of... It's like 500 or 600, which for the U.S. is a crazy amount of departures for trains. I don't know. It makes me really sad how this country has forsaken passenger rail as a viable transit method. in favor of propping up the automobile lobbies, but it is what it is. Boston to Savannah on the Palmetto. Oh, Palmetto goes to Savannah, does it? Okay. I know the Floridian goes through Savannah. Before that, the Silver Meteor and the Silver Star both went through, but those got combined to make the Floridian because Amtrak was running out of equipment, and there was tunnel restrictions for construction up in the Northeast. Ever gonna go to CS2 since Ice Flake became the new dev? There's still a lot of problems with City Skylines 2 that I really, really hate. Not to say I will never play City Skylines 2 again, but there's enough wrong with the game still. Enough that has... That was not supposed to be 2 ways. There's enough wrong with the game still that I don't feel comfortable like making it a streaming priority. And I don't think I'm ever going to be able to make videos on it just because it takes so much time to do videos. I need to copy my setting. Just give me one moment here. Yeah, that's fine. That was to get the 2 ways. Not 2 ways. Jeez. Did I put this on the wrong side? I did. I did put this on the wrong side. 2 ways on this side. No, I wanted the 2 ways on the other side. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? You wanted chaos in these streams, and you sure got it. I'm sorry, folks. I gotta take all this out. Oh no, 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 no! I can't get rid of that. I can't get rid of that. Why is that? Oh, that's why. That's why. Okay, I do want to get rid of that. Oh man, people who are gonna watch this VOD are gonna be so mad that absolutely nothing has happened. Okay. Maybe, you know, maybe I should just say, hey, please don't distract me while I'm trying to do live streams. Because then this is what happens. And don't get me wrong, I'm having a great time. But at some point I do have to actually, you know, quote-unquote, do my job, play the game, shut up and play the game, whatever. I'm sure a lot of people really don't care to hear about U.S. rail politics. Okay, so that has to go through there. And that is power shafts. And then that doesn't have to go back here, actually. That's fine. If I can't get through this side, I think... Alright, I gotta unpause this. I gotta have them at least come through and take care of all of this stuff. Get that done. Which will take care of all of this. I need plank storage. A lot of plank storage. I don't have really a great spot for it. This is close enough to what we're doing here for me to feel okay putting just a couple of these in. Or one of these in. Oh, I've derailed this so bad. You know what? I don't care. Those are gone. I'm not going to wait for it. Doing this live is always a challenge because I get really frustrated when things go poorly, and then I feel bad. But it is what it is. I've, for better or worse, become firmly wedded to this style of presentation. I guess I need to stick with it. Deprioritize workplace, deprioritize workplace. That's only going to get us another 16. I've got 30. Do I have the full hauling post? No, I do not. Okay. Wait, did I take that down? I did. Let's put another one of these in. I'm going to catch up on chat. I know. There's been gift memberships I have not gotten to. I am deeply sorry. I will get to that in a moment. Okay. That's probably fine. I just need to make sure I don't have this screwed up. Okay. Anyway. Oh no, California high-speed rail has been a disaster for a lot longer than 10 years. I've been following that very closely, but there, you know, there's a lot of reasons why things are going poorly. Not necessarily all California's fault. Not necessarily all federal government's fault. Mostly private industry and individual landowners and poor planning of the people who originally put out the proposal, the Prop 1A. It's just a mess. I don't know that there's an easy or viable way to fix it, which is a big shame because I really like the idea of high-speed rail connecting major cities in California, because you don't need to be able to fly between San Francisco and LA, because you're going to spend more time in the airport and on the plane than you would if the train could get you there in 2 hours and 20 minutes. But it is what it is. We live in an environment that is openly hostile to literally anything good being done in the realm of public transit, which is very, very infuriating. Have you been to Carhenge? I've driven past it. Let's see. It's supposed to be a power line where you just place the two-ways. Yep. Okay, well, when you sent that, I had not read that yet. High-speed rail will be a huge boon to the U.S., especially with fuel prices. Well, the problem is it has to be paid for, and this country does not like investing money in things that benefit the public. Yes. Derail you into a discussion of the hydrological politics regarding the planned Japanese maglev Shinkansen line. I don't know that the maglev line really needs to be built, but I do know, because I've got a number of friends who live in Japan or regularly go there, and they've been telling me all about the politics of the Shinkansen expansion through Shizuoka, I think, and all the routing and stuff. It's like, just build a train. I know, saying that to the country that pioneered nationwide high-speed rail, and galvanized the U.S. into some sort of pride about trains again for at least a brief period of time in the 60s and 70s is kind of ironic, but it is what it is. I have seen the cargo Shinkansens, yes. Have you tried out Logic stop working? Are you talking about automating jobs based off of resource fulfillment or population stuff? I have done that, just not in this playthrough. Okay. Wowee! 9 minutes later, Dumbkara692. Forgive me if I've mispronounced your name. I'm very sorry. 20 gift memberships. Thank you very much for supporting the channel, supporting me, and getting these people in on the insanity, even though we've spent the last 10 minutes talking about trains. Monkey Moya. Oh, there's no spaces. I have no idea how this is pronounced. I'm so sorry. Shadow FA Super Driver. Scourge 1917. Cargonauts. Jobar 1694. Shebang 12. Krelb. CRELB, I'm assuming. 5219. Mr. Dromo 3000. S Raider 1234. Wolf Rayet Arthur. James Doe. Sionab? Maybe. Jean-Francois Gillot 5720. J Fisher 5151. Ran out of channel names. That's funny. That's actually really funny. Madkelp 2367. Luca Wico? Wyco? Probably Wico. 4175. And then Noah BI4LL. Thank you very much for supporting. I'm so sorry I'm bad at pronouncing names. I'm trying my best. But I do appreciate your support, and welcome all of you. Welcome back, some of you, to the Beard Boosters. Thanks for your content. I am thankful that you enjoy it. And once again, I'm sorry it took me 10 minutes to get around to reading through this. The trains in the Luzon area in the Philippines. Buses, cars can only go through Luzon to Visayas to Mindanao? I've got friends in the Philippines, and I still don't know how to pronounce any of these. I'm so sorry. Longest land-to-land tunnel. 18-hour drive in a tunnel? Oh, no. Oh, no. I'm not driving through an 18-hour tunnel. Sorry for the wonder in each corner for the 1K playthrough. No. That's absolutely not what the problem is. that has nothing to do with why that's taken forever. The game just can't run very fast. When I have that much stuff going on diorama, it chugs, even on my computer. 1 day in triple speed still takes like 2 or 2.5 minutes, when normally it takes 90 seconds. Need an RV with a computer on board. I would love to have, a simple, like a van-style RV. I think they call them Class B or whatever, with just a simple setup, a bed in the back, and the ability to just drive wherever. That would be fun. Those are expensive, and I think I'd rather spend the money on other stuff. But yeah, I do like the idea of doing that. Oh, well, ship transportation in the United States is, for passenger purposes, place to place outside of like ferries is essentially impossible because of a piece of legislation called the Jones Act, which you may choose to research on your own time. I will not attempt to explain here. Just call it a podcast. I mean, at this point, yeah, probably. Hey, Lori, good to see you. Sorry, I'm 6 minutes behind. You have full plank storages. Hauling beavers couldn't collect the platform planks. Yep, we did put one in, but I probably should put more. Happy Saturday. Started my first game of Timberborn yesterday, and then I blinked and it was 3 a.m. Yep, it does that to you. Recently took the Brightline from Orlando to Fort Lauderdale. Amazing experiences compared to a flight. Yeah, and I really like the idea of Brightline, but it has problems. Mostly related to maybe bad financing decisions being made early on in the process, and also, people unable to understand that maybe you shouldn't drive in front of a train because you're going to get absolutely destroyed. And all these, here we go again. All these news organizations, and I studied journalism in college, so this really bothers me. There's a reason I'm not working for one of these companies now. They choose to report sensationalism instead of facts, and they say Brightline is killing people. Like, no, people are driving in front of the train and getting destroyed. That is not Brightline's fault. If you get hit by a train 99.9999999% of the time, it is always your fault. The train has tracks. You will always know where the train will be unless the train derails, and then there are bigger problems happening. If you are in the way of the train, it is your fault. You have done something wrong. Or someone who is operating a vehicle you were traveling in on your behalf has done something horribly wrong. That really bothers me when people are like, "Oh, Brightline's killing people." I guess, but it's not really their fault. Well, I'm not going into dev mode. I want to go down there. I want to take Brightline. Because there's a very good chance that company is not going to survive another year or two. I want to take it before it goes away. And maybe they figure it out. Maybe they get financing. Maybe they get billions of dollars from the federal government or whatever. But that's unlikely right now. But I really like the idea of people having options for different types of transit, especially if they were able to connect to the theme parks. But Disney apparently killed that, so who knows? I know there was a part of the route they were going to build new track to go between Orlando and Tampa, with intermediary stops at the theme parks, and then there's a convention center and everything. But Disney apparently killed that. Universal might be wanting to do something with it. But if you had the ability to go between Tampa and Orlando, even if you're not going to the theme park, if you're a Florida resident, I-4 is terrible. If you had an option not to have to drive I-4 every day, a lot of people probably would take it. That's the way it goes. I have a small problem. Started watching JC Timberborn videos a year and a half ago. Sometimes later I started a drinking game whenever he says it's going to take some time. Don't do that. Don't do that. You absolutely should not do that. GamerCon says, good night. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. Really shouldn't be building trains at ground level. I agree. Put them on viaduct or put them in a tunnel, but that's expensive. Grade separation. Here we go again. All right, before I get into this, let's build some more storage. just so I can sit here and talk and not have to worry about it. Oh boy. That's not going to fit there. Look at all this space we have for planks. Anyway. So, according to the FRA, Federal Railroad Administration in the U.S., there are different types of tracks that get classified for different maximum speed. High-speed rail, U.S. standard high-speed rail, which apparently is 150 miles per hour, but most of the rest of the world would not consider that to be high-speed. It would be like 165 or faster, which in kilometers is... I don't know. But, well, yes, the French, that's super slow, because they had a TGV going like 300-something kilometers an hour in the 80s, which is crazy. It was like, I think what's the speed record is like 382 kilometers an hour or something. They did on a controlled test track, and they had to have a fighter jet be the chase camera. Oh, that's a fun video to watch. 80 kilometers is 50 miles per hour. Okay. So 240 kilometers an hour would be 150 miles an hour, roughly, by that math. You really want to encourage Florida men to become more mobile? Okay, so I know that's a joke. I know that's a bit. For everyone who doesn't understand, the state of Florida has something. I did forget to play. You were correct. But people invoked trains, and now that's what this is. The state of Florida has something called a sunshine law, where newspapers and media organizations, whatever, are required to publish crime records. So I'm not really convinced that the state of Florida has an inordinately higher amount of stupid people doing stupid stuff, just because I know that that's a thing. Other places you have to go dig for that. But the state of Florida publishes it, so people get the impression that, oh, everyone in Florida is insane. Well, I don't know, that might be true, but that's not necessarily true. I need to, now that this is put in, and this is crossed, this is always going to be the most annoying part. I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to build, I hope I didn't just screw this up, vertical tubeways up to here, up to this corner. The rest of this is going to have to be triple platforms. That is too high. Well, it's 3 high, but it should be 2 high. TWO, not TOO. So that's going to go there. And then this two-way station is going to go here. And I hope it connects from the bottom. Otherwise, I wasted a lot of time, which is not something that's ever happened. But anyway, to go back to the grade separation thing, high-speed rail is, I forget what class of track it is, maybe like class 7 or class 8. By law in the United States, must be access controlled, meaning you can't have grade crossings. It has to be either fenced in or completely grade separated. Grade separated meaning like above ground or below ground, to where animals and stuff can't get on the track and people cannot wander onto the track. That massively increases the construction cost, and is part of the reason why the California high-speed rail stuff is taking so long. But a lot of that is because of environmental policies put in place, ostensibly, you know, with some sort of intention of protecting the environment, but people ended up abusing it. Now, is this... Okay, boom, that is connected. But that delayed land acquisition. People who didn't want to, you know, sell their land, which, I don't know, it's your land. You, I guess, should be allowed not to sell it if you don't want to. But they made it so difficult to acquire right-of-way and construct stuff that it was never going to be possible for California to build that rail line in the time that they promised it was going to be built, even without that. And now it's been delayed so long that inflation has just completely killed any possibility of it ever being done on time and on budget. And I don't know how they're going to do it, but I really hope they do. Thankfully, our local news hasn't said Amtrak was at fault for the few accidents there's been since the. Oh yeah, you're on the Mardi Gras line. I want to take that at some point. Yeah, it's quality of local reporting varies a lot, and I recognize that not all of them are bad, but the trend in this country does seem to be going toward news media becoming functionally useless. Let's see. Ground level isn't a problem provided you build fences. Yes, that's your access control. Put roads over under, and that's what a lot of the preliminary construction on the California high-speed rail, just for example, has been. Rerouting roads, building viaducts. I don't think they've done any tunneling yet. Now, there's a lot of work that if you have to put in a dedicated high-speed rail line in some place where there has not ever been a dedicated high-speed rail line, you're going to have to do a lot of that kind of stuff. And that's why it's like the best time to build the train is 50 years ago. The second best time is now. Or just don't rip the tracks up in the first place. What the heck kind of message is that YouTube just censored there? To be fair, robbing a gas station with an alligator as a weapon is rare outside of Florida. Okay, you know what? That's fair. That is very fair. You could probably also do that in Louisiana and parts of Mississippi, but I don't think I've ever seen that. Error path not found. Progress halted underground. You sure? Seems like it's working pretty fine. Europe has so many passenger trains. Yes, I want to go ride them at some point, but that's going to take time. Yeah, North America, just because things are so spread out, with low density is not very conducive to heavy rail as a viable intercity mass transit option, although it does exist. We have the Northeast Corridor that, like I said, goes between Washington, D.C. and Boston, at least with high-speed service. It does. So the Northeast regional trains do go into parts of Virginia, West Virginia, North Carolina. But you can, in the United States, assuming nothing gets delayed, you can go between Washington, D.C. and Boston on a train. I do not remember what the time duration is off the top of my head, but it's faster than you might think. And they're working on infrastructure improvements to make it not take quite as long. But there are problems. The state of Connecticut is very opposed to doing anything to improve any of the track in their state, which is annoying, but whatever. I don't live there. Not really my problem. Canada's got Via Rail, which, for similar reasons to Amtrak, does have problems. And Canada is also very sparsely populated. I think something like the majority of Canadians live south of the average Canadian border position by longitude, just because you have that bit that dips in the Great Lakes area. Almost the vast majority of the country lives there. Wish we had a high-speed train here. Okay, you were the one that was in the Philippines? Yes. We have multi-seat cabin and jeeps, buses, tricycles, and cars for land transportation. I don't know a lot about Filipino railways, but I do know that there's some projects that are underway to improve things. I need to learn more about it. How come building is going slow with so many builders' huts? You can only ever build one thing at a time with one beaver. It'll improve as the tubeways are built and then the power shafts get built alongside it. But one thing can only ever be worked on by one builder at a time. That's just the way it goes. Shouldn't we be talking about trains in the train stream instead? Well, people bring it up. I'm going to talk about it. I'm not going to just shut down discussion, but we do talk about this in the train streams. Doesn't all the Canadians live along one road? I don't know that that's explicitly true, but I do know that there is a major highway that goes east-west in Canada, and most of the major cities are along it. So, I wish this was going faster, but it is what it is. We're working on it. We do have tubeway here, and it's functional. We can, if we choose, expand this elsewhere, but I have paths going across things, and you can't put a tubeway on top of this station. You also can't stack these. Canada's population is only like 41 million across all that land. Most of it's concentrated near the border. Yep. I do remember seeing a statistic that was something like, I don't know what the number was, but it was a very high percentage of the Canadian population lived within an hour drive of the U.S. border. When I was young, took a sleeper train from Montreal to Vancouver. Oh, hey, Hoff. Yeah, that probably Montreal to Vancouver might have been the Canadian, or I think they might have had another service. I don't remember exactly what the name of that one was. I would like to take that at some point. But again, takes money, takes time. The Canadian, I know during peak season, sells out over a year in advance. So I'd have to do some finagling. That could be a 2028 thing, maybe. Assuming I can still do stuff by then. We'll see. I really like the idea of long-distance train travel. I think it could be a very fun and relaxing way to see things. And I know the western part of the U.S., if you have not been fortunate enough to visit, has a lot of really, really, really beautiful landscapes. And I feel like everyone, at some point, if you have the ability to come and see what we have in the western part of the U.S., you absolutely should. Yellowstone National Park, Yosemite National Park, Grand Tetons, Moab in Utah. There's a bunch of really, really, really beautiful places in this country. But they're hard to get to if you don't have a car. Ah, yes, zoning. Oh, zoning's a big problem. But it's unfortunately not really a simple thing to solve. Who would take a train if they have to drive to the station first, take a train, and then stand in the middle of a massive parking lot half a mile from the next one? Yeah, you're exactly correct. And that's not one of those things that's probably ever going to change in this country, just because people have been, not all people, but a substantial part of the population have been deceived to believe that development is always bad, when, you know, if you actually do it right, it ends up benefiting everybody. But people are not going to change their minds very easily, and a lot of people have been lied to and disenfranchised and all this stuff by federal and local governments. And I don't know. I'm not going to tell them that they're wrong for feeling that way, because a lot of people have been very poorly treated, and that takes a long time to heal from something like that. There are 11 homeless beavers. Right, you are. We need to expand our population, and I have. Wow, I've spent a lot of time talking about trains in this stream, which I'm not going to apologize for, but do need to acknowledge that does in fact take a long time. Never forget road tripping through Utah, Arizona, and seeing Sedona in the Grand Canyon, Zion National Park. Yeah, oh man, Grand Canyon's fantastic. I am never going to forget. We stayed in a hotel on the rim. Like, I could have opened the window, thrown a rock, and it would have gone to the bottom of the Grand Canyon. Couple years ago, we did one of our road trips. We stopped there and decided, you know what, we'll do this at least once. And we got a room on the rim of the canyon. And 5 a.m. we went outside and we watched the sunrise over the canyon. It was amazing, like unbelievably beautiful part of the country. You'll have a blast if you plan to have a long vacation in the Philippines. Yeah, I'd like to get to a whole bunch of different places. I don't know exactly when I'll be able to do everything, but I do want to go and see as much of the world as I can while I can. Just have to be able to pay for it. Back then it was a train that ran day and night. Someone said nowadays the train runs daytime and at night the passengers sleep in hotels. Okay, then that would not be the Canadian, because that is a train that just runs continuously. There are excursion trains. I don't think between Montreal and Vancouver, but in the western half, you have the Rocky Mountaineer. That is an excursion train that stops and passengers stay in hotels overnight. That's mostly sightseeing stuff. There's an American arm of that, Rocky Mountaineer service, that has been rebranded to a different name, and I can't recall what that is off the top of my head. When you say something will never change even though you'd like it to, you're doing the work for the people who don't want to change. Make them do the work. I mean, fair enough. But at the same time, I can't go write a check for $200 billion and build California high-speed rail by myself. There are people who could write a check that big. They will not do it. But there are people who could do that. This is where it starts to get into territory that could be potentially dangerous about, making political statements on stream, but I do genuinely wish more people cared about the well-being of other people. I guess that's probably the best thing I could say. Let's play the game. I need to put in some more well-being things for the rest of these beavers. Put in a roofing piece here is going to catch most of these. And then I've got a brazier here. And then I can do another one of these beaver statues someplace like here. Is that facing the right way? It is. Alright, how are we doing down here? Progress is very slow. So this is probably not getting done today. If I build from both ends, I probably could maybe... oh, B is not for boom anymore. I could probably make a bit of a difference here. This tunnel can be a dynamite. Beaver Subway, yes. I took a night train from Austria to Germany to visit the Gamescom once. The guys seated next to me were also into gaming. We just chatted through the night. I took a plane the next year. Now, did you take a plane the next year because you didn't enjoy talking to those guys, or you weren't able to do the train? Because intercity transit in Europe with the trains is fascinating to me. I've seen a lot of videos about it, and I think it would be a whole lot of fun to do stuff like that. But obviously it takes time, etc. How much trouble would you be in if you bounced a $200 million check? I wouldn't be in any trouble. The bank would be in trouble. Look, you got that big of a screw up on the balance sheet? No, that's not my fault. It's your fault. Didn't sleep a wink, and being on a massive gaming convention without sleep is no fun. Okay, that's true. I don't know. Well, what's the word I should be saying here? I don't know. my read of your message when you first said that was that you didn't enjoy it, which may or may not be true. I'd be on the hook for $35. Yep, exactly. Too far from a district. Oh, they haven't built this yet. So they are going to have to do this one piece at a time, which is unfortunate, but it'll get there. We'll just have to keep monitoring it. This is just glacially slow pace. Intercity trains in Europe are fine, but intercountry trains are way more complex situation. Yeah, I know you have the Schengen area, but I know trains going between different countries do have to, like, they have to change locomotives and drivers and stuff in different spots, just because the infrastructure is not universal. It does just take time, Jason. You are correct. Let's see, what else? Obviously, France has their high-speed network. Spain's got a high-speed network. Great Britain is attempting to maybe at some point have a functional high-speed network. Italy, I think, has some. Deutsche Bahn exists, and then you have some others, but who knows? Who knows what they're going to be able to take care of, make things better if people want to actually, advocate for it. We need to put some more pine trees in here. We have got pine resin. This is working, and that's completely full. We need more storage. All right. Where are we going to put our enormous million log monolith? Honestly, wasn't too much of a train fan before visiting Japan for the first time between the Yamanote line. Japanese pronunciation is horrible. I'm sorry. Shinkansen and the cute tourist trains. I can't get enough. Yeah. Japan is probably, as far as I can tell, the best place to go on the entire planet if you like trains. Passenger trains, at least. And you want to have a whole lot of variety. Not sure anyone in the UK believes high-speed 2 will happen, let alone classes high-speed. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It's really, really bleak for you guys. Assuming you guys, you're in the UK. And for a country that, invented the train and had contributed so much to railroad history and innovation, it's very, very sad to see the state of things in the UK. Deutsche Bahn exists is quite the understatement. Oh, yeah. Deutsche Bahn is legendary for, maybe not for being good, but it exists. You can take trains. Just got here. What did I miss today? A whole lot of train talk. Not a lot of gameplay, which some folks are not too pleased with, but I've been having fun. So thank you very much, Gary. I appreciate you keeping the vacation fun going. You've been a supporter for a really long time, and I need you to understand I really, really appreciate you and everything that you've done for the channel. Pronunciation was good. Konpekidana. That was bad. I can promise you that was bad, but I can read it. I'm learning. I know Konpeki is that perfect? I think that is. Belgium has high-speed trains. The fact that the train reaches top speed after leaving Belgium doesn't matter. Don't know if I could do Japanese trains. Heard about the pushers and how crammed the city trains get. So I grew up seeing. I had these series of books when I was a kid. I can't remember what it was called, but they had books about all the different countries in the world, and they had the Japan one had like a cartoon illustration of a guy with a big 10-foot long pole shoving people into a subway car. And I thought, man, that's crazy. How are you gonna have that many people taking a train? And then you see these videos of the people who they go to Japan and they make videos on trains, and they yeah, this isn't actually that crowded in here. I don't know what people, but I think it does depend very heavily on where you're going and what time it is. Obviously, commutes are gonna be crazy, but it's just always been very interesting to me. Sister only went once on a long-distance train, and on her way home, they suddenly got the announcement the switch was set wrong, and we drove in the wrong direction for the last 30 minutes. Now, what country was that in? That sounds like a very... Actually, no, that couldn't be an American thing, because these are all automated. Maybe it could be, who knows. Let's see. 117 million population of the Philippines is the latest statistics on 3 major islands separated by sea. Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. I hope I pronounced those correctly. I appreciate the pronunciation guides. That's actually very helpful. You like the train talk? Well, good, because we're not going to stop doing it. Where I'm at, it was never planned to come to me, even though converting the whole West Coast main line makes sense and goes through where I live. Well, you know, the UK is not a huge enough country where I think it's impossible to get to any of that stuff. I know, like, the relatively speaking, like, people who aren't from the US don't understand our concept of time and distance as a function of convenience. But it is deeply funny. Sometimes when I'll see people from, say, just any given place in Europe say, "Oh, it's too far. We never go there," and then you find out it's only 30 minutes drive. It's like, what are you doing? It's like, I drove 30 minutes to go to work. Oh, is Deutsche Bahn? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. I really don't like just automatically assuming something is bad that I haven't experienced. But I'm gonna tell you, I've not seen a lot of good stuff about Deutsche Bahn. No vacation for me until 1K closure. I mean, I'm trying. Tokyo trains only get like that. Talking about crush loads at rush hour. Absolutely fine 90% of the time. Yeah, I figured that's probably what it was. Thanks to the UK, we have high-speed railway. A lot of patents were invented by the UK and later sold to other countries because UK's high-speed railway was eating so many. I'm not entirely sure how to read that, to be perfectly honest with you. I think I understand what you're saying. I don't know. It's so weird to me that the UK could not figure out how to have a competently run rail system. Like, I have ideas. I have theories based on the privatization, renationalization, and all this other stuff that always happens when things get involved like that. Yeah, I knew Josh would show up when the Japan train talk came back up. Josh says, hello, Japan regular. Unless you're doing Yamanote line, the Chuo main, or the Tozai line in Japan during rush hour, you're not going to be cramped. Good to know. Why don't you use districts? I hate them. More in the way you play. Do not like them or just don't think of them. It's partly a function of they're very annoying to set up with biobeavers because you have to have food and water and all these other things taken care of. And also partly because I just honestly forget most of the time. Kyoto buses, on the other hand, are living hell. I have heard that. I have also heard that Kyoto is doing a different fare schedule for foreigners versus local people at some point on the buses because they're so over-touristed. Like, good luck enforcing that. Also, there's a lot of stuff online about the Japan is living in 2050 stuff. Not really. Japan has been living in the year 2000 since 1980, I think is, I forget who told me that, but that seems like a pretty accurate description of what they're doing over there. They still use fax machines, which is hilarious in the year 2026. But they do have a lot of very good, very developed infrastructure. I don't think they're generating a lot of electricity using those tile things you're talking about. Prove me wrong. If that's actually what's happening, then I'll be very impressed. But I don't think that's actually happening. At least not on a grand scale. It could be some sort of like test thing. But drives for 8 hours, hasn't left your state. So how do you like living in Texas? Because that's exactly what it is. The argument is there should be no need for domestic flights in the UK. I mean, the UK is small enough where I absolutely would agree with that. Now, there are certain low-cost airlines you have that would be very angry if that were legislated. But, wait, you know what we can put right here is we can put another large water tank. Not that we really need it, but I figure we might as well. They're also trying tourist-only bus routes. Again, good luck with that. Enforcement is very hard. What is... Oh, okay, there isn't anything there. I don't know, like, the tourism thing is... It's such a like a catch-22 for me. That you have a country that is a very, very declining birth rate situation that has to rely on a lot of immigrants for service position jobs. And it's also a country that, at least outwardly, with national politics, seems to really not like the idea of that being their reality. But then people will also complain that there's too many tourists coming in, and then also complain they're not making any money. So I don't know. Obviously, that's not a universal thing, but it just seems like it doesn't make any sense. Like, you either want tourism or you don't. I got no problem, say, if I were to go visit someplace as a tourist, I've got no problem paying more money to go do that versus someone who lives there, because I believe in contributing to local economies. I got no problem paying for it. But I don't know. There's a lot of disconnect happening. If you like public transit, you should go to Luxembourg, as all of it is free. If I ever go there, then I will certainly take advantage of that. Could you build a station? Build. There you go. That's a real word. Build. Could you build a station underground with a double line, allowing beavers to build tunnels without tubeways? You'd have to have a big enough cavern for it, because the only station in the vanilla game is this, and it is 2 blocks high. It cannot be built underneath anything. I think the funniest thing, since I guess now we're talking about Japan, the funniest thing I've seen on the internet the past week is apparently there's a guy in Japan who bought a Chevy Malibu off of an American soldier or something on one of the military bases, and he's like obsessed with this car. Which, for those of you not aware, like in the United States, a Chevy Malibu from that era is basically the default AN car. Like nobody. There's probably a couple people who like them, but it's not a status symbol. It's not an expensive car. It's not particularly high-end anything, but this guy is so proud of the Chevy Malibu, and he's posting all these pictures of going all these different places. He's talking about, I love this big American car. It's like man, basically any Japanese car maker is going to make something as good or better. And I don't know. It's just really, it's heartwarming for me to see that, because we have all these people in the United States that are like, oh, everything Japan makes is really great, and then here's a guy in Japan, everything America makes is really great. It's like that meme of the two guys having the handshake or whatever. It's like we're really not all that different, depending on where you are in the world. We're basically the same person. We're just from different places, and that's really cool to me. But it is very funny. To see someone basically revering the most basic American car. Let's see. Doesn't the game support shortcuts with 2 buttons? Have you tried Control-C for duplicate? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. I don't normally use it. Okay, well, for buildings it doesn't. For recipes, I'm pretty sure it might. What's using a recipe? I've got fermenter. If I copy-paste, that's doing soybeans. That one's already doing soybeans. Let's change this to be none and then hit paste. Yeah, okay, that works. Wait, no it doesn't. Oh, they don't have it set for Control-C, Control-V. They just have it set for Control-V. Okay. Okay, that's weird. It does work. Change the last tube to a station so beavers can get out of the tube. No, I can't. There's not enough clearance. We only have this 2x3 by 2 block high station. It's too tall for a tunnel. To make 1 million logs stored, you need 5,556 storages for logs only. Yikes. That's a lot. That's a lot of storages. The Japanese treat American left-hand drive cars like we treat Japanese right-hand drive cars. It's always going to be funny to me. Like, I get it. Car guys are car guys, no matter where you go. Like, they're going to find something they latch onto, and it's like, oh, this is really cool, and it's different. And like, okay, cool. I'm not going to take a dump on the guy for liking the car. It was just like, that's never a car that I've perceived as being like an aspirational thing. What is really funny, though, is, I guess, in the United States, the Nissan Altima is basically the default whoever is driving this car has made terrible choices thing. And I know I've driven Altimas. I thought it was fine. A good car. But for whatever reason, it's ended up as just the default just disaster car. in the United States as a matter of public perception. But in Japan, it's like basically only old people drive it or something. I don't. It's just funny how everything is just completely opposite. Like most people in the U.S. see an Altima on the road and they're like, "I got to get out of here because this person's gonna crash into me or whatever." But then you see them over there and they're all maintained immaculately. In the 90s, there was a plan for a truck carrying railway from the channel around the M25, then up the corridor. High Speed 2 was taken to somewhere in the north to remove lorries from the road. Ah, yes. We had in the United States, up until intermodal containers got really popular, we had something called piggybacking, where, just like what you're saying, they would take, well, in the U.S. we call them truck trailers. You call them lorries. It's fine, whatever. But they'd take these truck trailers and they'd put them on flat cars. Usually the 40-foot trailers would go on 89-foot flat cars. In terms of meters, I don't know what that is. Just divide that by 3. Or I guess 3.1, because I think a meter is 39 inches. Anyway, whatever. Point being, we did a lot of that stuff. A lot. But now almost all of the freight going across country on a train is in an intermodal container. Let's see. If Control V is already something and Control C isn't, replace the B for duplicate to Control C for duplicate, then B for boom. See, I could, but I'd also be kind of afraid that if I change the default bindings, I'm going to forget that I've changed them and then get mad that they don't work. B is definitely the best letter in duplicate. We've gotten almost nothing done in this stream. I'm so sorry. I mean, I'm not that sorry, but I am at least a little bit sorry. I just need to continuously monitor all of these things. If I just go straight down like this, I can just kind of pop this in as things weren't. Stairs were much faster for building the tunnels than their two-way tunnels. Not in the base game. Obligatory, I missed the 1998 Toyota Tercel moment. Don't we all? Yes, a disarrayer that moderated that message. I think that specific bird name is probably also blocked just for, slang reasons. U is the hotkey for the building's unique action. Yes, it is. I changed. Pretty sure. Pretty sure I changed that to. Yeah, I remapped that to. Well, this isn't 6. It's the G6 on my Logitech keyboard, and then that's K. That's what we did. I already thought that the channel was transporting trucks and buses and freight and stuff in those trains. But I could have just misremembered. You can start putting in power into the finished tunnels. We can. Although it's not really going to be a super fast process. But we can definitely continue popping this in here. It is K for Kaboom. It is also G6 for Kaboom, because apparently that's a thing. Let's see. Well, the all-time legendary generic car on this channel, as you all know, is the Honda Prelude, because we have HP for the power measurement. And Honda, actually, in the US at least, did release a Prelude last year. Maybe it was 2024. But they wanted way too much money for it. Like $42,000 or $43,000, and it didn't even have that many features on it. So I don't know what they're thinking with that. But I thought a Prelude was cool. Just not like a fancy car or whatever. It's just a neat car. But now the people who have those know what they have, and they're not selling them for cheap. And then there's probably not a single 1990s Civic left that hasn't had a fart can exhaust put on it. Yeah. And there's reasons why cars have gotten more expensive. But they haven't gotten as expensive, scaled for inflation, as a lot of other things. What's really nuts is TVs have gotten so cheap. Even if you're not adjusting for inflation, TVs are still cheaper than they were 10 years ago. 10, 20 years ago. Want to guess what the marketing guys wanted to call the Mitsubishi Starion in the U.S. market, but was stuck with the Starion model name due to the U.S. advertising execs? I actually have no idea. Yeah, I don't know why they're raising the price of the PlayStation 5. There's already no games. Like, why? What are you doing? What are you doing, Sony? Well, it's probably because of the RAM and all those other shortages that are happening now. Reminder that generative AI is not your friend and never will be. Stallion. Oh, of course. I should have assumed it was Japanese to English mistranslation with the consonants. Why wouldn't they let them name it a stallion though? Do they just think they would have brand recognition? It's like I mean Mitsubishi in the United States basically doesn't exist anymore. I don't know why they it's like they stopped making neat cars. Or they stopped making reliable cars at least. Anyone in the United States buying a Japanese car is buying mostly Subarus, Toyotas, and Hondas. Not in that order, but I don't know anyone who has in the past 15 years bought a new Mitsubishi anything. I sure hope RAM prices come back down, because it is bad news not being able to buy that stuff. Yeah, the Chevy Nova thing was funny. Although some people claim that wasn't actually exactly what happened. I wasn't alive to dispute it, so I'm just going to go with what people tell me. Misheard the guys from Mitsubishi on a call. Okay, well that makes sense. Okay, so the Chevy Nova thing reminded me. There was they probably still make them, but there was a series of humor books in the United States, maybe available in Canada also, called Uncle John's Bathroom Reader, that would have these little human interest stories or oddities that they do like write-ups between like 1 and 9 pages. So, you know, before people had smartphones everywhere, you have that book in the bathroom and you read it while you're in there. But the Chevy Nova thing was one of those stories that was in there. There's a couple other really interesting things like that. Cars for the last few decades have been soulless and samey anyway. None of the car makers take chances on anything. They build what sells, which is, you know, in a vacuum. Okay, that makes sense. But when you only build what sells, then you also have to realize the other half of that is you can only sell what you build. So once you take a tiny step in one direction, you're basically guaranteed that's the only thing you're ever going to do. If you only build what you can sell. So everything looks the same now. You got crossovers, and you can't buy sedans. Most American manufacturers don't even bother making them anymore. Although I think Ford said they were going to try to bring stuff back. But I don't know. At this point, I have no reason to buy an American car if the stuff out of Japan and Korea is better, and it's cheaper, and they actually make stuff I want to buy. Like, why would I want to spend more money to buy a worse product in a class that I don't want to own or drive? It is what it is. When Nissan imported the Datsun 240Z, one of the guys in charge fought so hard to keep the Fairlady name, and every American, from CEO to line worker, collectively told him, that name will sell negative cars. Yeah, I can't say people in this country would buy a car named Fairlady. Even though I guess at this point I'm no longer a car guy because I'm not going to spend the money to try and find anything, but I used to keep up with a bunch of that stuff. The build it regulations per minute, yeah, I was trying not to bring that into it, but yes. The chicken tax, the cafe standards, all that legislation that in theory, depending on how you want to interpret it, is beneficial, but there's always consequences to stuff that you really have to be sure what you're doing before you do it, because it's real hard to claw that back. I miss real wagons. Give me a 9-passenger with a rear-facing seat and I drop the cash right now. Crash standards will probably not allow that to ever be made again. But yes, the old wagons, like the Roadmaster and stuff, legendary. Absolutely legendary pieces of equipment. Although, you go to Southeast Asia, they're putting 9 passengers in Honda CR-Vs. I don't know how they can fit people in there. But you can get it. You can get a Honda CRV in maybe the Philippines, maybe not. I can't remember the exact country I remember seeing this from. But you can get in a CRV with 8 other people, and it's legal. It's a different class of vehicle that's taxed differently, and I think as a result, it kind of incentivizes people. That's what policy is supposed to do: is incentivize people to behave specific ways. But it's essentially created this microbus class where they retrofit regular cars with a ton of seats and say, "Oh, well, this isn't a private vehicle. This is a bus now." And like, okay, really? Oh yeah, California high-speed rail is nowhere close to being completed, but they are starting to lay track, not high-speed track, but they're starting to lay track to get equipment to continue building actual high-speed track. The biggest problems with high-speed rail in California, like construction-wise, have been obtaining the right-of-way and then moving utilities, moving roads, and building the viaducts and things to do flyovers of existing infrastructure. Because again, it's high-speed rail, you have to have it grade separated. So there's all these, again, here we go, disingenuous, bordering on just outright fake news garbage that some of these media organizations are putting out, where they show the picture of one viaduct that's been built for 10 years and say, oh, this is all California high-speed rail has out. Like, no, that's absolutely not true. They've built hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these structures that are ready for track to be laid, but they cannot lay track until they have the ability to lay all the track. The track being laid is like the last thing they have to do before they can run trains. All the infrastructure work has to be done first. But, you know, people who don't know how this stuff works just see the headline and they're like, and they start foaming at the mouth. And to be fair, there are very valid reasons why people should be mad about California high-speed rail. But the track not being laid yet is not one of them. And now the budget, $100 billion, is actually nowhere close. It's, I think the estimate now for phase 1 is like $240 billion, which again, complete mess, but it's not a complete mess for the reasons a lot of people think it is. In Southeast Asia, they're putting 9 passengers on a Super Cub. You could do anything on a Super Cub, including put 9 people, apparently. Let's see. Love my Suburban, great for road trips, can pack everyone in it and all our stuff in comfort. Yes, big SUVs are absolutely undefeated for road trips, except in matters of fuel economy. Then you cry when you go to the gas pump. But we always loved our minivan to do road trips with. You know, DVD player, comfy seats, decent fuel mileage, and ride well on the highway. Road trips are great in big cars. If you're by yourself, they can be fine in a small car. But if you got more than 2 or 3 people, you need a big car. California high-speed rail problem is where it's routed. So the reason it was going through the Central Valley was a federal requirement when the project was first proposed, because they wanted to have all of the federally supported high-speed rail things that were in progress at that time, including the Florida high-speed rail, which was absolutely torpedoed into the ground by the Florida government and then later privatized and became Brightline to a certain degree. They said they wanted to connect areas that had minimal other service. So that is why the California Central Valley was selected to be the starting segment for the California high-speed rail thing. Which, to be clear, California Central Valley, despite what some people would like you to believe, is not a desolate wasteland where nobody lives. There's more people who live in the Central Valley than most U.S. states. And it's an agricultural powerhouse. They have slow-speed rail service. Amtrak just renamed used to be the San Joaquins, but now I think they call it the Gold Runner. Goes up to, does that go to Sacramento or something? But they have some train service there, so it's not like they'd just be building a train, quote-unquote, train to nowhere, which there's people live there. There's industry there. They will use it. It's just a matter of actually getting the thing built and connected to the major cities. But if California high-speed rail had not started in the Central Valley, it would have never been approved and would never have received federal support. It is just unfortunate that the process was specifically designed to make it almost impossible to succeed. Why in the world did it censor this message from Jason about Suburbans? Anyway, Manually approved that. I don't think I have any clicked here anywhere. No, we're good. Also, the problem with connecting the California high-speed rail stuff to Los Angeles and San Francisco. Well, San Francisco, the Gilroy to Palmdale is a whole thing. But Caltrain has actually electrified that entire route, and they've improved service vastly. That's the last leg into San Francisco is going to be, for the most part, shared with that existing infrastructure. So that's taken care of. They just have to get to the southern terminus of that first. But building in the LA area for rail infrastructure is just, it's so hard because, well, there's no land left. Everything has been developed. You have to either buy something and knock it down, or you have to bore a tunnel. And people go absolutely nuts when you say, "Hey, we're gonna bore a tunnel 600 feet underneath you." Like, it's not gonna affect you at all. It literally won't. But people go completely insane. It is what it is. Let's see. Yeah, well, I know Bakersfield didn't want it. They've got the, is that where, going through Bakersfield is going to be on, a 3-mile viaduct through the center of town? In no way, shape, or form is that an appealing presentation of something. NIMBYism is real. Yes, it is. And it makes me so mad that people just refuse to consider that other people matter. But now we're getting into dangerous territory. I'm going to get myself in trouble. I really thought this was going to be going a whole lot faster than it is. And I'm going to be out of time here in a little bit. And this is going to be the worst VOD ever. But you guys are here and we're having a good time. At least for the most part. Is there something else I can reasonably do? Getting this up and running was good. I don't have enough storage for much of anything else. Where do I want to put my 1 million logs? I have no idea. We do have extra beavers. I know I need to manage this better. I keep getting distracted to talk about trains. Alright. I think probably the last thing I will really have time to do before I risk devolving this into just me ranting about things forever, which nobody wants. I feel like that's probably where this is going to be going. I need to find some place to put more of these. Build a giant column and put the beaver launcher on top. So this is a 7x7. Which means I can do 3x3s on 4 sides. Because I know they can't build this over here. Where's a flat spot for me to even put this? Alright, ends up going like this and this with a space in the middle. Then that fits right on top of that. The problem is getting up and down. Because, again, we only have stairs. So we would have to do something kind of like this. I'm not sure if this is going to be super convenient for us to build. But this would get us on 2 level at least up into every single one of these. The problem comes when you have to have a rotation back over here. And then it becomes an issue of... Oh, come on, let me click. No, that wasn't supposed to go there. It becomes an issue of how do you get from here up to here while also not blocking your storages. You almost have to build something around the outside with ramps. Because you can't just have this all in the middle. It just doesn't work. Unless you have ladders, which I don't. Nationalizing trains in the United States will never happen. It doesn't matter who's in charge. There is no political appetite on either side of the aisle for enormous, like, completely nationalized everything. Despite what some people are going to continually insist, I can assure you neither party wants that. Interest is on the outside of the spiral staircase. Yes, but the problem I was going to get into was that to get around... Oh, nope, I already messed this up. To get around the outside is fine, but there's still space in the middle that is going to have to be filled so that the Earth Repopulator can fit on top, if that's what we're going to do. Also, keep in mind, we need, what was it, 5,000 something of these? And that's not going to fit in a stack that's 2x2. So it is probably not going to be a super convenient thing for us to do. Now, if we made this, say 4 of these, and then just kept stacking this up, we could, on the outsides here, put in a... I always forget I can do this now. We could put in spiral stairs or just regular stairs to get up to the next level, and then just come back around like this, and have that be on either side, either end, and then just go one direction or the other. But then they have to take a super, super, super long path, and you want them not to have to do that. Or, alternatively, and we only have the one tube-way station, so we can't put this in the middle. We just stagger tubeways up and down and build some sort of structure to accommodate those, because you can't, you know, build over these, at least the default ones, but you can, at some point, put in... Really? That doesn't fit on a 2? Oh, that's actually bad. I guess we have to have a 3. Yeah. I could just stack tube-way stations like this, but that's only every 3 levels, and that is not really going to be... It's not really going to be a great solution. 'Cause honestly... Yeah, that would only go there, and then I'd have to have stairs to get up there, and then I'd have to have stairs to get up to the next one. That wouldn't, probably wouldn't fly very well. Honestly, I don't know that I have a design for this that's not going to suck. So maybe let's not do that. At least not right now. I did really want this to be all hooked up, but I think this is going to take more time than I have, and more time than you're willing to spend sitting here. Gonna need to use mods. Okay. I think the game is stable enough now to do mods. There's always, you know, people that get mad when I do that. I generally try not to piss people off when I make videos. Sometimes it's unavoidable, but spiral staircase to hit every level, and two-way elevators every 3 levels on the staircase. You think that would work? Where do we want to do it though? Because I don't. If I put it here, it's going to be in the way. If we did all the way at the very top of the map, well, that could be a good long-term project. Just make this entire backside of the map all storage. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about that? Or at least a bunch of this middle bit. Because right now this is... How many is that? 3 or 4? That's 4. Okay. Because I'm thinking if I had a space that was actually big enough, you could do something like one of these numbers. I'm not going to build this all the way out just so you don't have to look at it, but if you had your two-way station at the end here, not like crammed up against it per se, but you had this like so, you have your path coming down the middle, and then to get to the next level, since you can't do it with the tube-way, you have a turnaround at the end, kind of like what I already mentioned, but that would come out to... It doesn't have to be symmetrical, but I always feel like it looks better when it is. And have that come out to this way here. And that brings you out to this side. And then to get to the next level, since you have space here, Okay, that actually couldn't be. It would have to go straight for this. Have that go there. And then this would have to then go up. Maybe. Maybe I need one more space. Let's give it one more space. I am determined to get this to work, so just so we can have something worth saying, hey, we did this. You do that. Get this across here. Then have that go up. Have that go up to here. And then that becomes the next level. And then off of this, because of how this is set up, you put your double platform. And then you have your... I'd have to do 4 buys here. And then that is where you put the next two-way station. So that this entire thing, all the way up to here, is accessible conveniently. You go all the way to get to the second one, or the third one's right here, and then you repeat the pattern as you go up. What do you think about something like that? I'll probably have to leave this here so I remember what I did. But that is basically infinitely scalable up. You can always go further down this way, but this right here is already 12 of these large industrial piles. Would it not have been faster to put an endpoint tube under the ground and let them build a lot and then connect them if that's even possible? It's easier with mods. And if you had two-way tunnels be a thing, then you could not have to, you know, babysit it like I've been doing, which is what the Ember Pelts lets you do. That's probably how I'd prefer to play anyway, but this is where we find ourselves now. Well, Disarrayer, thank you very much for the €5. I appreciate it. You vote for me to do pressure on hard with no mods as one of your next ones, but don't stream it. It's not suited for that. I'll consider it. I probably am not going to start another Timberborn series until Project 1K and Ant Farm are both done. Ant Farm, I have at least 3, maybe 4 episodes left of that one. And Project 1K is continually being pushed aside so I can make other videos. So once Ant Farm is done, I can spend a little bit more time on Project 1K, and then once that's done, I may start another one, depends on how long that takes me. But I do want to play Pressure at some point. I've heard that Pressure is already hard. On hard mode it would probably be a nightmare. I've also been told I need to play Timberpunk 2. If Dr. Cudson were in chat, I'm sure that would spark something. But that one is very hard. Very ridiculously, extremely hard. And I would not ever be playing that on hard mode. Or Water Beavers, because that was also also a suggestion I received. I don't know. We'll see. Is that a mod? Is what a mod? 3 high, I could use the large and extra large piles. Those are Ember Pelts things. Right now, this is base game. You just have small and large. Subway stations on both sides. Okay, so the reason I wouldn't do that... let me just make sure I don't have any... Yeah, that's waiting. The reason I would not put subway stations on both sides is because it would be very hard to actually do that while also having stairs that functioned. Yeah, not going to say it's impossible, but the reason this works is because we have spiral stairs and it doesn't have to stop in the middle. And I don't think if I put a subway station here that would really be viable. Because when I go to make this again, I'd have to have everything on a +2 for this, I think. Yeah, which means this level, this third level, would I don't know how to explain it. It's like a scissor, like a Z-shaped thing, like a parking garage, or if you're Canadian, a parkade, has the ramps that you go in there, you're really frustrated because you're never on the right floor, your car's always on the inaccessible side. That's actually the most efficient method of getting through something like that. in terms of managing traffic flow. It's not convenient if you're trying to get to a specific place and you don't know what stairway you need to exit on. But that's essentially what this would become. If we take a look at the pathing here, which it's not going to show because it's not connected to a district, but ground level goes up and then goes up again. But this staircase is never going to interact with the same levels that this staircase does. They're going to be offset by 2 each. So I don't think, for that reason, it's going to make sense to have the two-way station on both sides. If this were sufficiently long, then you'd probably have to, but the way this is set up, you can just put two ways, and that cuts a lot of the travel time in half. And this is, what, this is 12 of these? So, 12 times 18, math. This is still not going to be anywhere close to what we would want to do to get a million things, but this is really good for the amount that we've gotten in here. Pressure on hard mode needs planning and attention to detail and experience, so I can manage all those, but not in a stream. It's stream guaranteed failure. I wish I had time to watch more people do Timberborn videos. I would probably consider Zedek to be the smartest, or at the very least among the very best Timberborn players on this platform, from what I have seen. I do not think I have the game mechanic understanding or the intellect to match anything that he's doing. But if I had the time to watch that entire series, that might be a good idea. Timberpunk 2 and Water Beavers would be masochistic, yes, and it continually gets suggested. It's all coming from one person, mind you, but still, I guess somebody wants to see me try. If you do 3 space between stations and storage, you can make a stairway that connects at every level. Yeah. Yeah, probably could. Okay, let's... Just because I really want to see how that would work, let's do that. It's going to have to go away. I'm going to have to take this away, which means this is going to go away. Okay, let's plan this out. 3 spaces between. 1, 2, 3. So that goes there. I'm just going to build the one side for now. So to get up to the next level with the spiral staircase, I would want that. Then that's an intermediary that would connect to this middle bit. Here. Oh, that's all I have to do? Oh, that's totally doable. That's easy. I thought it was going to be hard. That gets us every level and we don't have to do it on the other end. You're smart. I would not have thought of that. And that gets us out to here, where that would connect to that. And then that connects there. Yeah. Okay, I like that. And I guess we could probably, since there's no stairs on this, we could probably just... Oh, no, that's not going to work. Probably just do this again. 4 bys. Yeah, okay. Because then that, to connect to this level, is going to have to come up on the double platform. I may be about to run into an issue here. I do see signs that that's going to be challenging. But if that goes here, then that goes... Oh no, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. I was worried that I was going to have to essentially come through this overhang here, but that doesn't seem like it's going to be... doesn't seem like it's going to be a problem. Okay. Am I going to be able to get this? No, not there. Oh, I guess technically I do want that there. It might take me a little bit of time to actually do this to like a scalable degree, but I think this is going to work. And then at that point, the tube-way is just a matter of convenience and not a matter of necessity. But I do like that idea. Timberpunk 2 is a map. Yes, it's a custom map. Water Beavers in stream would be 1 stream before Colony Death. Yes, it would. Grouchy Hermit, thank you very much for the 5 gifted memberships. I appreciate you. Spoiler alert, Knockmeister, not Knockmeister. That's just the last name I saw. Hello. Hoff did not get one. Hexy 1722, Danny Helsing, Smokey Destona. Oh, that's what that means. Okay, I saw that before. I was like, what is a... Okay, never mind. Rachel Simon 4363 in... where's the space on that supposed to be? Dean Avona? Deanie Nova? Dean Y Nova? I don't know. Well, regardless, welcome to the boosters. You'll get tomorrow's video early. It's probably, I think it's going to be Roller Coaster Tycoon. I think the Arid Heights scenario, so it's probably not going to be a super long video, but we are making our way through that game very, very slowly. And the people who like those videos are definitely very much enjoying those. Looking forward to a new Water Beaver series. Yes, that's the next one I wanted to start. I don't know if it's going to be possible for me to do that. We'll see. But yes, this was supposed to be more or less the end of the stream here in a little bit, so unfortunately it came in toward the end. But trying to figure out a way to get a stackable without ladders storage setup here, and I think we just found it. But yeah, that could be basically infinitely extended here, and could even be extended out to the side, just to demonstrate for you how that would work. I'm not going to build everything out. But if we have good access to tubeways at the very end, then we could make each level go out like this, like in a plus shape. And that, of course, is very easily expandable. I like that. I'm going to leave this here so I don't forget that we've done this. But I do need to probably end here in a little bit. I want to make sure we got as much of the two-way nonsense done as we can. And this is just, it takes so long to do this manually. And it's unfortunate because I know you guys want to see stuff get done. And then we have a 3-hour detour on trains that slowly devolves into politics. And I'm like, all right, we need to stop. But let's see. After Project 1K, it would be nice to start a new game other than Timberborn. So the problem is, when I do that, YouTube punishes me. So I couldn't replace Timberborn entirely. Like, I can mix other stuff in, but if I do too much, then it just absolutely nukes my viewership because what most people are watching is the beavers. And if I change it up, then how it promotes videos is it looks at your most recent 10 videos, and it decides whether you get on people's recommend based on how your 10 most recent videos perform. So if you have too many videos of your previous 10 that are not in your main niche or whatever, niche, whatever the correct pronunciation is, nobody cares, then YouTube will just decide to stop serving stuff. I can't have too many channels. I already can't keep up with having the second one. I was like, I'm going to upload a video every week to the train channel, and then it's been like a month and a half since my last one. So I really need to be making another video for that today instead of streaming, but I figured we'd have a better time doing this for most people to care. You're absolutely right. These are power shafts and not tubes. I'll take my lashings. Oh, this is so slow. I wish this were faster. How to build a spiral staircase, split it, and sandwich one platforms in between. Like, are you talking for the tunnels? Oh, we can't do that. You capped your tunnels. Oh, with the power shafts, yeah. I think you could take the two-way staircase pattern and just leave a gap every 5 to 6 piles of warehouses to put extra entry points if it's going to go across the whole map. I haven't decided exactly where it's going to go yet. But the proof of concept as a design, I think, is good. Oh, talking about storage. Yeah, but then the footprint's not large enough to accommodate enough storage if we're going to try to actually get to 1 million logs, which I don't even know if that's possible without the game completely flipping out. Couldn't you make a station in the tunnel? Nope. These require 3 high clearance, which we're not going to be able to do in a tunnel without completely redoing how all of this goes. It's going to get easier once they can actually get between these two, and we're not going to necessarily... You know what I should have done? Is I should have just gone a straight line here. But it is It is what it is. I made bad choices. I got distracted. We spent 2.5 hours talking about trains instead of beavers, and this is the result. So this takes a 3 wide by 2 deep, technically 3 if you need the entrance, and it's 3 blocks tall. You can't build over this on I'll just show you real quick. Overhang does not let you do that. Does not let you do that. It only lets you do this. So it does have a full 3 block high requirement. And the places that we are tunneling through don't have that much height underneath them. It's not 2 blocks clearance. Well, yeah, this is honestly just really bad. But I need them in the tubeways to put the power shafts in. And I forgot I can't let them out into the tunnels. Oh well. I'm gonna have to, when this gets around here, put this in as a no, not B. Put this in as a tunnel thing. 2. I don't need this. I'll go 2 down. I'm also starting to get really hungry, so I'm gonna have to stop and go get some lunch at some point. We're just a whole lot of waiting. A whole lot of waiting. This is why this takes forever. Bots might actually make this substantially faster, but we haven't gotten those unlocked yet. Well, I don't know how you can put... Look, I just showed you that it doesn't work. Maybe they changed it. I don't know. Like, I don't know what I can do except just show you that it is physically impossible to fit it in a too high space. Like, look, it doesn't let you build this. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Just, it doesn't work. I don't have terrain or anything. What are you having for lunch? Don't know yet. Yeah, see, like, look, this doesn't... It's only going to let me go up directly above it. I can't... Wait, what the... How does that work? Alright, Timberborn, what are you doing? You're drunk. How does that work, but the overhangs don't? That doesn't make any sense at all. Alright, now I'm mad. I've been doing this the whole time. Not been able to get anything done because I've been waiting on... Oh, I can't do that here anyway because there's stuff in the way. Okay, well, for this exact spot, this isn't going to be possible, so I guess it doesn't matter. But man, that is, that's something, alright. Why would they make it have a different clearance for terrain versus... Oh, whatever. I don't have the height underground to do it, is what I've been trying to tell you. Like, right above here, this is 1 block. I can't, like, it's going to drain the entire lake. Can't do that. The angle bracket supports on the overhang intrude into the station space. Well, that's dumb. So you're telling me if I just move it back 1... No, that still doesn't work. Doesn't work. Nice try, though. Well, we will certainly be taking advantage of that in the future, assuming I ever actually finish this. I just needed this to have something completed before I have to, you know, end stream on this. So we can feel like we got something done. The subway underground, there's no need for a glass dome. See, normally I would agree with you, but this is the only two-way station we have. I think one of the other mods for this turns this into a 1 tall building, and you can stack the you can stack other stations on top of it. But Did you miss anything in the mole simulation game in the past 20 minutes when I was actually doing my job? Yes, we were actually playing the game. And not talking about trains anymore. But we're too far into this to do anything else now. I don't have the space to tunnel it out to get a station in there. But for the rest of this, we absolutely will not be doing it this way. I don't really have anywhere else for it to go except over here. Which, well, I already messed that up, but I could have this come up to over here. I'd have a station over here be probably right about here. Maybe at the end of the bridge. Would make sense, as long as that is not going to cause problems. I guess that's probably fine. I'm trying to get power connected too. It means one of these is going to have to go. That's complicated. We'll do that not today. I don't even know if I'm going to have time to finish this, but I feel like I have to. Just have to wait. Seems the overhang platform is based on the top of the same tile that the platform is placed on versus the dirt block that starts at the bottom of the tile. Interesting. Not entirely sure what else we're supposed to do, but we're not crazy far away from having this done, and I do think I need to finish it. But man, am I really wishing I'd not done this way. Is what it is. Try putting impermeable floors on top of what? On top of the platforms? Or on top of the station? I don't think you can build anything on top of the station. I will humor you, though. So I cannot place them directly on top of the station. It just doesn't let me do it. But it lets me put those there. It's not your fault. Literally all of this is my fault because I decided it was more important to talk about nonsense than actually play the game. Now we just have to wait. I'm guessing the height of the station is 2.0, whereas the overhang takes 0.1 of the block it's overhanging. That could be true. Oh, the nonsense absolutely is fun. Unless you're a VOD watcher with no chat replay. And you just sit here thinking, like, what's wrong with this guy? Or more likely just abandon the watching the video. For the vertical tubes and power shafts, have you added some levels of impermeable floors as a failsafe for inevitable failure? Well, thanks for the vote of confidence, but no, I have not. What I will do is exactly that. 3 in a row. Tic-tac-toe. Barney, G.I. Joe, etc. I will do that. Because I do not trust the ability of my disaster planning skills. All we can do is all we can do. If that makes sense. Left some impermeable floor blueprints? Where? Oh, I did. No, I'm on live chat. I'm deliberately ignoring that you said trains because then it's gonna... bad things are gonna happen. Start of the tunnel's missing power. No, it's not. It's connecting to this. That has power shafts that are rotating. And that's rotating. The only one that's missing is this, which I guess probably is what you were referring to. But if you were referring to this not having power, that's by design. design being a term used extremely loosely here. Should put one under the station or the colony is going to get wet. I don't know that I can. Really? I think I would have had to do that before the station got built. Now I can put some on this level. That's probably going to have to be the strategy here. I think that's fine. That we've already discussed. It's got 3 layers of protection. Yeah, that's gonna be fine. Surprised you're continuing the ant farm after the one video where you almost had a catastrophe. I really try very hard not to quit on series. 1, because don't do that. 2, because people want to see it continued. So, like, we're effectively done with it, but I do still want to continue and do the ending like I always do with launching the thing off. So we're not going to put too much more effort into actually building infrastructure so much as we are just getting the milestones and getting the well-being and then saying, okay, we're done. Now we're just waiting on another 25 pieces of tunnel to get built so we can actually move on with our lives. Why is this green? Okay, that's supposed to be green. I was about to say, uh-oh, we're going to have a flooding problem. Three by one platforms behind the 2-way or 4x1 next to it will also be helpful to open the front for stairs. Are you talking about with the storage design? Because I don't think I need anything by any of these. God, I wish they were faster. Because now we're just waiting. Okay, what else? What else could I possibly do? Food-wise, things are looking fine. We don't have a lot of storage for food. We do need to fix that. But I think I want to put a big food storage thing in with a 2-way connection, which we haven't been able to finish yet. Permeable floors under the other station? I do not. I don't know that they can build it. Maybe. We'll see. They theoretically should be able to from inside the tubeway. I don't know that it's going to be a priority because I have all these other things already mapped out. But I did place them. Let's check and see if they did these. Yeah, okay. Did they do these? They did. Alright, cool. That was what I was most worried about. They can build from inside the tube, you are correct. It's just one of those things that I always am worried it's not going to work. Hello, welcome to stream where we have accomplished almost nothing. Hey, we're gonna be done sometime soon, but I do want to connect these 2 ways so we can actually, you know, go between different areas. And then the next time we do 2 ways, do it completely differently, so I don't have to sit here and wait, because I forgot they have to do everything in like 3 different steps. Instead, we wait. Yep, we got another 20-ish tiles that need to be installed. Let's see. I don't know if there's anything else I really can do while we're waiting for this without this just dragging on for hours and hours, which I don't have and I don't think you do either. Leaving it unfinished is not an option. Oh, but I know people don't want to watch that. Where can I put food? Big food storage. Because I know we have a 2-way station there. where would make sense? Like, I have some stuff here. I have the raw materials, but I don't have a beaver smorgasbord or something. And I do want to go over here. I didn't do a good job of laying this out. I don't know if you got ideas. I'm all ears. Just need to get back to all of this. How's the power on the playthrough? It's alright. This power shaft is only connected to the geothermal engine. We haven't been making a ton of power yet, but part of the solution that I had, at least, was to connect everything together so that they can all share the load. It makes it a little bit easier. This map has a specific design where there's basically no regular sources anymore, and you have either bad water seeps or regular seeps, which most of this is coming from bad water seeps right now, and bad tide drains because it's a bad tide. But outside of that, we're basically just making power with geothermal engines and steam engines. We haven't bothered with the large water wheels yet, although we could. If I had a decent spot to put it, this would probably make a ton of power. But holy okay, 1181 HP. That is an amount. 15, 16, 1766. Wowee. Oh boy. Well, that's not a today thing, but we'll need to at some point do that. Oh good, going around the corner was actually faster, because that's how the game works. That bought us maybe another 30 seconds. Thanks for hanging out. Have a good rest of your, well, I guess, very early morning. They do make decent numbers power-wise in the channel. I wish I was able to take advantage of that right now, but you know how it goes. These guys are going to take their sweet time doing all this. We'll come back a little bit, but I do want to get one more. Yeah, the bad tides really give you a ton of power. And we probably could harness that by making specialized tunnels for it. But this is also, this playthrough is never really supposed to be that kind of a thing. It's supposed to be mostly for me to experiment with automation and get real-time feedback, which I think we've done less and less of in the service of actually playing the game, which, you know, it's always a good thing, but I think I did kind of lose sight of my initial goals. Looks like straightening out the bad water channel and double wide large power wheels will supply more than enough power. Yes, but the goal eventually is to not have any bad water at all coming through here. And if we're going to have a million logs, which somehow I decided was a smart thing for us to do in this, then maybe that's not going to be, I don't know. My brain is starting to lose focus also. So we're not gonna be in a great spot here in a minute. But I am gonna at least finish this. I can usually only go for about 3 to 4 hours before it starts devolving. Mentally, for me at least. That might be the highest density of train-related words in the chat we've had today, despite talking about trains for 2.5 hours. I would like to commend you on this impressive achievement. We're getting there, folks. We got 13 left to go. 13 tunnel pieces at least. What else automation-wise? I know I talked at the very beginning I want to do stuff with the indicators and fireworks launchers. We also have memory, and we've got speakers and stuff. We'll see what we're able to get done. But we are kind of at the mercy of how much time I actually have to do this at this point. I do have Railroad Tycoon, if that's what that's called. I can't remember. There's a couple different ones that are pretty similar. I don't know that would make a good video series, and I also don't know if people would even watch it, honestly. I think this is where B for duplicate could help. I don't know how much help that would actually be. Get it? B. Clicking is fun. It doesn't really save any time. It's just a keyboard shortcut. I never use keyboard shortcuts in basically anything I do, outside of the the ones everybody uses like Control C, Control V, whatever. I've never found it to be easier or more intuitive than just point and clicking, even if it's slower. No, it's like sacrilege to people who live and die by their macros. But it just always seemed really unnecessarily complicated for me. Then you have the Terran Van Hemerts of the world with multiple keyboards and like 500 different macro combinations. It's like, look, I can't remember what I had for breakfast like last week. I'm not going to remember all those different things. Keyboard shortcuts, I guess they're faster if you use them, if you know how to use them. If you've been using basically just point and click and basic shortcuts for the past 30 years, like what value is there to like trying to relearn how to do absolutely everything when this already just works fine? Colony-wide network of fireworks cannons that go off when the seasons change. That's doable. I haven't experimented with fireworks at all, so I don't know exactly what they can do, but you could do that with a weather station very easily. Worry too much about the VODs. Community knows you and watches for the podcasts. Yeah, that's basically what these are, huh? As well as for the videos. I don't know. And my thoughts about this vary a little bit. Every time there's an update to the game, I get a bunch of new people who watch the channel. And invariably, a lot of them complain that I'm not playing the game enough, especially in live streams, or things are going too slow. And then I feel bad, because I don't want anybody to take the time to watch something that I've made and feel like their time was wasted. That's like one of the worst things you can do, is waste somebody's time. But I don't ever want to feel that way. So then I get real self-conscious about it, when honestly I shouldn't be that worried about it, because the people who are here for the long haul have been here for a long time, and they keep coming back, some of you for many years, and you still like the way we do stuff, so I have no real incentive to change for the core people. But I also don't want new people to come in and immediately just have a bad time because I'm not doing something fast enough. I am terrible at RTS games. That's probably why, because I couldn't be bothered to figure out shortcuts. It might sound really ridiculous to come from someone whose literal job it is to play games online, but I don't want video games to feel like a job. They're supposed to be fun. If I have to... If it's like trying to learn an entire language just to play the game 5% faster, no. That's not a good use of my time. I got too much else going on in my life to figure all that out. Yeah, that's what I always try to do, the gaming with your buddies vibe. I always loved that when I was in college. I played Minecraft with a bunch of people. We just hang out and voice chat. Well, it was TeamSpeak back then, but we just hang out and have a good time. It didn't matter if we were doing something super fast or super efficiently or whatever. We were just having fun playing games. First time caller, long time watcher. Yep. Man, remember when radio was actually good? Yeah, I appreciate you guys being here and offering the positive feedback and all the community support stuff. Today's world, people really need stuff like that. I do also, and you guys are very good at filling that need for me, and I hope to some degree I am good at filling that need for you. God knows we've got enough garbage we have to figure out how to navigate. I don't want to be part of the problem. But we are just about done here. We got one more piece in the middle to take out, and then we'll connect these. This one's got 400 supply. This one's got 800. And together there will be 1,200. I can do math. Come on. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. We got stuff to do. Of course, they're going to take their time. Oh, no, no, no. We're not even a third of the way through Roller Coaster Tycoon. Because remember, it's 1, 2, and all the expansions. We have done 53 scenarios, which currently is maybe it's the entire base game of Roller Coaster Tycoon once. The entire base game, all of Corkscrew Follies or added attractions in other environments, like UK release or whatever. And we're on the 5th or 6th scenario of the Loopy Landscapes expansion. And I think there's probably another 20 or so in the Loopy Landscapes section, and then we get to RCT2, and then including the expansions for that, there's another 75 or 80. And then there's more other things, like there's the entire Six Flags section. There's the Build Your Own parks. Okay, we might be a little more than a third of the way through, but there's tons of stuff left. All right, so this is working. Power is all connected. Supply of 1,600, demand of 910. We do have... Oh, come on. We do have this over here. That's... Fingers are on wrong buttons. These are connected to the power meters. And they'll turn on when the demand's there. So, that, honestly, that's a big improvement. That is a lot of good stuff done today. The 4 buildings that are unconnected are these things up here, in case you were curious. And we have plenty of other geothermal fields we can get connected to, and then, of course, we want to connect all that. But now, they can go from here to here. A whole lot faster, so we probably aren't going to see very many beavers taking this path. But it is, wow, it's 4:30 where I am, and I have to go eat something, and then I have to record a video for tomorrow. But I appreciate you guys hanging out. I appreciate all the support. You guys have been fantastic. If you liked the train discussion, great. If you didn't, well, sorry, but we're probably going to keep happening. Just the way it goes. Have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, have fun. We'll see you again soon. Tentatively tomorrow, Transport Fever 2 stream. I might switch it to Satisfactory. I'm not sure. But it'll be same time, 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight. So around dinner time for all of you in Europe, and then those of you on the other side of the planet, it'll be late night. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.